Ladies and gentlemen of Gripper Nation, can you smell it? It's game 2, baby. Let's go. Game 1, it's going to be hard to top. I'm not going to lie. 1,000 likes. We got the grips out. We got a double overtime Connor McDavid goal after a single overtime Jake Ottinger robbing of Connor McDavid. Good evening. It's Saturday night. It's a beautiful day here in Toronto, although it did start out a little rainy. I already did a stream today with Tim Haraney this morning for the Monaco Grand Prix, and now it's me, and it's you, and it's hockey, baby. Let's go. So, good evening. We already get the poll up asking people, what do you think happens tonight? Are we getting a Dallas win to get this series tied 1-1, or is Edmonton taking a stranglehold 2-0 win, sweeping home ice advantage away from the Dallas Stars? That would be a real shocker. That's a big story. Oh, look at these. I don't know if you guys are watching what I'm watching right now, but there are light up Dallas people. They look like it's like Mad Max with Christmas lights on the ice there. Okay. All right. What up, Gripper Nation? Let's see some grippers in the chat. Let's grip and rip, baby. Let's go. Shut up, Kristen says, let's go Stars. Keep this interesting. Patrick Hamos, Adam, you are my biological father. Listen, I can't account for what happened in my 20s. I can only do what I can do now. That guy from Canada, Adam's favorite Aerosmith album, Get a Grip, obviously. Hey, there it is. Mad Adam beyond Gripper Dome. Well, here's the thing. The Oilers currently have a grip on this series. But how can I work that into a sentence? Can Dallas get a foot up, step up? Can Dallas step up? Does that work? It's not nearly gripper enough, is it? Anyway, Snowman Multimedia, love your setup. Well, thank you. Jesse set this up. I do nothing when it comes to that sort of thing. Hey, super chat already. Sadine Magic 15, who has been with us since the beginning. Adam, you may want to steer clear of Steve for a while. He was threatening to beat you up after Gripper Nation took over the stream last night. You know what? Steve can say whatever he wants, but and he could charge me from behind. I might not even see him coming. But what I do know about Steve is that he can't stop Gripper Nation. You might be able to lock me down, but can you lock down Gripper Nation? No. Gripper Nation will lock you down, take over your stream. And you know what? I'm really proud of you guys. Well done. Nicely done. That's the way it should be. Good for you. Barclay Goodtoe won it for the Rangers last night. Yes, he did. Man, Steve, Hank Barber. Why was Steve grumpy? Was it the Gripper stuff with the Gripper chat? Grip Nation shows up. You can't stop Gripper Nation. I love this. Dallas is about to put their foot in their mouth. Oh. Jacqueline K, great stream this morning with Tim. Go Charles Leclerc. Yo, Charles Leclerc, this is the third time he's qualified on pole at Monaco, and he's from Monaco. I think we're going to get a good race tomorrow, but he's got to win. He's got to win tomorrow. And I say that as a McLaren fan. See, there's the light up Mad Max Christmas people. And one of them's lights didn't work. There we go. Girthy Bettman, Steve will charge you like he's Nick Cousins. You mean he'll charge me 15% escrow? You see, because it's a money joke. Or will he actually just charge me? There's some crab people in the chat too. Way less cool. Gripper Nation's where it's at. I think we all know that. He was totally fed up with the feet jokes. I don't get it. Can't he just enjoy? Dallas should start a line brawl, and get McDavid ejected. 500 IQ strat. I like that. Hey, what do you think of the double Haas disqualification from qualifying? Well, we were blown away by their pace. The Haas F1 team was unbelievable, and now they're starting from pit row. And that really sucks. I would love to understand, and I'm going to ask Tim about this tomorrow on our podcast, why what happened with that rear wing and why that matters so much. But that sucks. That really sucks for them anyway. Best racing weekend, Monaco. Larson doing the double Indy and the Coke 600. Agreed. Yeah, it's a great racing weekend. It's a great hockey weekend. It's a great sports time. Unless, like, I love baseball. I've always loved baseball. I can't watch the Jays this year. I heard Jesse filled in for Julian on the CJ show, and I was listening to them talk, and I'm like, and CJ said something that really kind of rung true, and he's like, I'm out. He's like, I'm already out. I can't do it. And Jesse, I know, is far more patient than I could be, or that CJ or Steve or anybody. Jesse's still, I think, in on them. I like at least able to watch. My mother-in-law was texting us today, and she is one of the biggest Blue Jays fans I know, and I love watching games with her. And she said, yeah, we're just watching the Jays lose. They lost 2-1, I guess, today too. So it's just not fun, right? Not a fun team to watch. Although I'm sure that Gripper Nation, if we ever got together in person, could probably have a good time down at Rogers Center, even if the team sucked. It's a great time watching baseball if you're a Phillies fan. True that. It's been a pretty good last decade and a half for Phillies fans. Next weekend, the T20 Cricket World Cup starts too. You know, CJ Cable just said that. I have heard nothing but amazing things about cricket, but there's only so much time you have for sports, right? Especially when you're married and with a kid and whatever. And my wife watches a ton of sports with me. We watch F1 together, we watch baseball together, we watch hockey together, but sometimes we all need a break and need to watch something else. I don't know where I would fit cricket in. I don't even know the rules of cricket. I'm sure it's a wicked game. There's a reason why there's billions of people who watch it. I don't even have time. I don't have time. I wouldn't even know where to start. Adam, how in the world did Canada lose to Switzerland at the World Cup? Shocking. I think it's actually, for the whole world, it's actually a good thing. For Canada, it sucks. And Canada should always go into every one of these tournaments as we should win this, right? Losing it, a shootout is a shootout is a shootout. It can go either way. But I think it first off, it's enormous for the country of Switzerland, which is their hockey program, along with Germany, has really exploded in the last 10 years. And they're creating some amazing hockey players. And that's exciting because I want hockey to be at a place where I want it to be as popular as soccer. And I know that could never happen in my lifetime, but I still want that because I think hockey is the best sport in the world. And it's great when other countries are good at this. And Canada should be disappointed, and this should shock us. And maybe it'll shock Hockey Canada into modernizing their program, which, forget all the scandal from Hockey Canada. Here we go. We're going to have the face-off here. There we go. And they dropped the puck, and they meant it that time. The Hockey Canada program is actually very outdated. You talk to people within the Hockey Canada system, and they'll tell you that there's a lot of antiquated stuff going on, and it's going to put us behind if they're not careful. So to me, I look at it and I go, maybe this is this hopefully is part of the wake-up call that Hockey Canada, I believe, needs to modernize the program and bring some new, fresh ideas in, because they've been traditionally very traditional and a little slow on things. Double IHF is best of the world competing, not just Canada and the U.S. Exactly. I agree. Completely agree. And you know what? CJ was talking about the fact that John Tavares felt a lot better after playing there, after, a bitter Game 7 loss and a tough series against Boston. I think Pierre-Luc Dubois had a really good tournament. If John Tavares comes back to Leaf camp next fall and he's rejuvenated because of this, fantastic. That's great. We gotta, but the thing is that, and he knows this, you gotta win. You gotta win. It's like life. In life, you can make a bunch of excuses as to why you didn't win, but at the end of the day, did you win or did you not win? You gotta win. Good little start for the Oilers there, and a good little breakup by Dallas. Duchesne using that speed. McDavid, I love that he came back for that. He dropped 2 hits on that, and they're just throwing that out there. 2 hits on that shift. Love that for him. And I got a great McDavid stat for you. You ready for this? Okay, so Hayden, producer Hayden, we're going to call him Stats God Hayden every time I bring him up. McDavid needs 2 points in the next 5 games to become the 4th fastest player ever to 100 career postseason points. And by the way, The other guy, one of the other guys who did it, is Leon Draisaitl. Isn't that crazy? So he needs 2 points. He gets 2 points tonight. So we're on McDavid watch tonight, big time. More than usual. Here comes Sam Steele. Former Leaf draft pick, selected by the Anaheim Ducks after Toronto traded that pick for Freddie Anderson, of all people. No, I got to say, I love watching the Dallas crowd. I love how much they stand. I love how excited they get. I'm just pulling up the lines here. I love the Dallas crowd. I have to give them full marks. Not that they need my opinion on it, but I love fans like that, because what it does is it's infectious, and it grows the sport and it makes it amazing. And there is something to be said for what the Southern United States has brought to hockey, in terms of chants and standing and clapping, and the hockey was a very sit down and watch this game sort of sport for a while, and I think football fans who translate into hockey fans have brought a lot of that energy with them. And if you've ever been to an NFL game, especially in Dallas, I've never been to one of those, but I go to Pittsburgh ones all the time. They're pretty loud and pretty obnoxious, and it's the best. It's such a great environment to be in. And I mean obnoxious in a good way, by the way. So yeah, I'm excited to watch the Dallas fans. And you know what? It's also good when fans are competing with each other. Like, I know, Edmonton fans and Dallas fans are sniping at each other on Twitter. I love a competition between two arenas, like who's got the better fan group. Because as a Leaf fan, I know we're never even going to enter that competition, at least in the arena. We've got great fans. They just can't afford it. So it's kind of fun to watch two fan bases go at it who are like, hey, we got real fans in the building. It's awesome. 17:04 left in the first period, by the way, and Hayden will be updating the clock every time we get a face-off. We can't have a running clock because it is surprisingly hard to do, but at very least, we're going to get you as much as possible. Hey, Tim Roby Show there with a super chat. Thank you, Tim. Hey, Adam, I just want to say hi. I'm the Tim Steve got you to say hey on the phone last night during the stream. Things got a little wild with the Gripper Nation. LOL, go Dallas. What do you mean? What do you mean things got a little wild? What do you mean? Did we take over? Listen, we got the Dangle Navy, of which I believe we're all members. We got the Crab people, Jesse's people. And now we got Gripper Nation. Oh, what a goal by Jamie Benn. Wow. Little sneaky shot. You want Stuart Skinner to have that. I'm just going to say it right now. You want Stuart Skinner to have that. Listen to that Dallas crowd chant. See what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's so sick. All right, here we go. What happens here? So Ben with a little steal at the blue line, and then just a snapshot. Does that go off at 27? Is that off Kulak? They got to slow that down. Slow it down. It looks like it might, but it does go off the middle of Stuart Skinner's pad there. That's a big goal for Dallas, guys. Big, big, big goal. They need to be able to take a step up here and obviously getting a goal in the first 5 minutes is great. It's like what happened with New York last night, right? New York gets out and gets the goal early. And I know Florida tied it up, but I think, low scoring game, New York getting that goal gave them a real boost. And I have a feeling that tonight is not going to be a low scoring game. It looks like the Stars and Oilers are more willing to take it to each other than they were in the first period of last game. Last game was just painfully slow in the first period, but it picked up. Oh, nice little redirection by Ceci. Scores! Oh, baby! Oh, it's Connor Brown. Connor Brown, less than a minute later, has tied things up for the Edmonton Oilers. That's two former Leafs. Cody Ceci driving the puck. And by the way, his defensive coach, Paul Coffey's been saying, shoot more. You got a cannon. Now, you didn't need to shoot hard there, but the key point here is the rebound that Ceci gets. He gets an opening through. Nice little Brown to Ceci there. Wow, that's great. So Ceci gets an opening through the neutral zone, passes to Brown, redirects Brown's shot. Brown obviously then gets the, he gets the rebound off of Ottinger, and that's 2 5-hole goals in the first 5 minutes of the first period. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a game. We got a game. Edmonton fans, I know that Connor Brown put you into bonus overage for $3 million next year, but do you care right at this moment? Probably not. You're probably thrilled to have him. Probably thrilled to have him. And good on Kenny Holland just raiding the ex-Leafs closet. I don't think Connor Brown and Cody Ceci played together in Toronto, but I think Ceci showed up the season after. But you know what? I don't really remember because of COVID. COVID has totally screwed me up. That whole 2019 through 2022, don't remember much. I remember losing to the Zamboni driver. That's the last major event. And then losing to Columbus. I remember that too. We got a game here, ladies and gentlemen. They are not sitting back. We're having some fun. My stream is like a minute behind, so take my Internet Explorer level memes with that in mind. Sorry about that. You know, I don't know if you guys... oh, here we go. Vinny Desharnais from the Blue Line. The one thing I'll say is that if you're streaming in Canada and you have access to like a Rogers Ignite or a Shaw Ignite or the Bell service, I forget what it's called. It seems, at least from what I can tell, that the Rogers like Sportsnet Plus or Sportsnet Now or whatever they call it is delayed, and it feels intentional because it's about 45 seconds. The TSN one, which we ran this morning, doesn't seem to be as delayed. But if you run the cable app version, which is what I'm on, so Ignite app, I'm just watching the game here too while I'm talking. It seems to be right on par, and so you're really far ahead. And also the picture's better. Don't ask me why. Actually, you can ask me why, and I'll tell you. It's because they want you to buy cable. Yep. So ESPN is, I don't know where ESPN is at. We're at 13:30 right now in the first period. But, you know, that's the way she goes sometimes. Oh, here we go. Oh, and that's broken up by the Edmonton defense. I thought the Dallas Stars were going to get another goal there. Wyatt Johnson missing a pretty great opportunity. You know, it's so crazy how good this Dallas lineup is without Rupe. Rupe Hintz is such a great player, and Dallas is like, yeah, but we're still Dallas. They're such a well-built, amazing team. Okay, here we go. Corey Perry back in the lineup. No, it's Derek Ryan. Every time I see the number 10, I think it's Corey Perry. It's not. I can't believe he's out again. But I can, though, because watching him last series, he didn't do much. And there isn't a lot of... I haven't seen in the series that I've covered a lot of hatred. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got teams that are like, we're gonna kill each other. New York, Florida. Steve got the hatred series. I got the we're gonna score a bunch of goals series, I think. Not seeing a lot of hatred. Not seeing even a Vander Kane. If the Dallas Stars wins, I'll eat a bee. Please don't, Lights Army. Please do not do that. Please do not do that. Might be time for Perry to retire. Yeah, Andrew Waters. Perry can't keep up. I wonder if Corey Perry is... It's hard to say, but I wonder if Edmonton is not the right team for him style-wise. So I think he's still absolutely an NHL player, but like maybe he'd do better on a team like this year's Toronto Maple Leafs team that just took forever to set up. So freaking slow. Maybe that's a better pace for him because, you know, the legs do go. Something that you should know, and you'll love this if you're an Ottawa fan or if you're a Leaf fan, Cody Ceci has not been on the ice for a goal against since the 3-1 Vancouver goal in the first period of Game 3. Guys, that is a long time ago. That's 6 games. Give that man some credit. Give him his due. Listen, I didn't love the way he played here in Toronto, but he's been useful. As soon as they split up him and Nurse, that I think that was actually the game where they finally said, okay, that's the last time we're putting Nurse and Ceci together. And after that, it was Edmonton series. It really was. Good for Cody Ceci. Adam, would you ever go back to Halifax for a Mooseheads game? I am dying to go back to Halifax for any reason at all. My wife loves it out there. I love it out there. She has a friend out there that's getting married, so we might have an excuse to get out there. I love Halifax, and if I could live there, I would. I'd go and live there and live out the rest of my days and be a happy man. It's my favorite place. Found out today my neighbor spent $2,800 on Taylor Swift tickets in Toronto like an absolute mad lad. That is wild. $2,800. I'm not, you know what? I'm actually surprised in some cases that it's not more. I do know people that have their Taylor Swift tickets and paid, sticker price for it and are like, you know what? It financially might make more sense for us to skip this concert and sell the tickets, because it's like, how do you pass up an investment like that? Oh, Oilers in. Oh, Ottinger deep in his net. He still doesn't have it covered. Good eyes on the ref there. That I believe I believe Dallas iced the puck there. That was close. Otter was able to keep that out. I thought he had it covered. Wonder what the Oilers do with Nurse. They can't keep a salary on the team with Bouchard needing to get paid. I think you have to cut from other places. And now, obviously, the Oilers are doing great with both of them, especially the Desharnais thing. And maybe what you do with Nurse is, like, because Nurse's deal goes till 2030. He's been very, very good with Vinny Desharnais. And you don't have to pay Vinny Desharnais that much. So maybe it's like you just accept the fact that the money is what the money is. It will diminish against the cap as the cap goes up. The cap is going to go up a lot. I would suspect that in 5 years, we're probably at $100 million cap. Still, that's 10% of the cap, which is a lot for Darnell. But, most teams have a bad deal somewhere. And if he can be as good as he's been with Vinny Desharnais, and if Vinny has to go and he makes too much money and has to go elsewhere, you can find Vinny Desharnais out there. You can find Luke Schens. You can find Ilya Lyubushkins. You can find Joel Edmondsons. I'm talking about former Leafs here, but you know what I mean? Big defensemen who are not the most mobile. You can find guys to play with Nurse. So maybe you just kind of have to manage around it, because Bouchard you have to pay. Oh, nice play there. Nuge, Hyman, McDavid are alive in this series. And we talked about in the last stream how the least effective pair for expected goals against per 60 was Tanev Lindell. Now, it's probably because they're getting the toughest matchup. But they got the matchup with McDavid last game. And yes, it did go to overtime. And yes, Robertson hit the post in the third period on the power play, blah, 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 blah. I get it, but they didn't win. And you got your matchup, and maybe your matchup isn't the matchup you should go. Bouchard with a great move. Oh, good toe save by Jake Ottinger. Wow, what a move. Damn. Kevin O'Connor, I'm a metalhead, and I've seen the whole Eras show with my nieces. I can see where the hype comes from. Taylor Swift puts on a fantastic show. I saw her in of all places, Edmonton, about 10 years ago, and she was phenomenal. Absolutely spectacular. That was at the old Rexall Center. Oh, what a save. Man, I got to tell you, the Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn are looking like old Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn in this series. Like, I know this was the series we wanted to see Robertson and Wyatt Johnson and Logan Stankoven and that sort of thing. Getting Seguin back up there with Robertson and Dadonov, that Seguin-Dadonov pairing has been very, very good. I thought it was good in game one. Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin, I believe, linked up for the first goal, and then I think Seguin scored the second goal. It's like old world. This is vintage Tyler Seguin. Also a former Leaf pick. Who was that traded for? Phil Kessel. That's right. Otter with the gripper save. Aaron Grace, can't wait for the downfall of Ticketmaster and Live Nation. Man, it's such a shame when you find out the way that the music industry works, and how predatory it is. And yeah, I'm with you, and it's not just music, it's sports, it's everything. Um, I think I think you can't have monopolies like that because the whole goal of a corporation is to make as much money as humanly possible, and without competition in the market, um, that's the nature of what we're in, right? The system we're in is we need competition to bring prices down. The second you don't have competition, prices go up. It's some of the problems we're seeing in Canada too. There's like, two or three wireless carriers and two or three grocery store companies, and you need way, way, way more diversity in an economy for capitalism to work. So I'm with you. I think Live Nation, they need to break that thing up and they need to do it quick. Um, I don't like country, but of all the best concert I've ever seen was Carrie Underwood. She had like 5 costume changes and a hot air balloon. That's cool. I've heard Carrie Underwood puts on a good show. You know who else puts on a really good show is Nickelback. Saw them in Calgary, and I've never owned a Nickelback album. I don't stream Nickelback on my Spotify, but I got to tell you, it was outrageously good. Outrageously good. I'm not ashamed of that at all. I had one of the best nights watching Nickelback at the Saddle Dome. It was spectacular. Travis Kelce in the house. Is Travis Kelce there? I didn't see him. They didn't shoot him on the Canadian edition. Maybe ESPN showing him. Adam, will Steve ever join Gripper Nation? He was hating last night. He said he was going to beat you up. Yeah, I've heard that. I didn't realize. I love that you guys took it over. I love that. Oh man, I love that. That makes me so happy. And will Steve ever join? Steve has to be invited to join Gripper Nation. Okay, he's fighting Gripper Nation right now, and Gripper Nation are listen. It's the new thing. It's the new force, and he's got to get ready for a day when Gripper Nation takes over the world. He hasn't accepted that reality yet, and he needs to get there. They absolutely have shown Kelce on Sportsnet. Adam just missed it. Well, listen. I've seen enough Travis Kelce for an entire lifetime. Not that I'm annoyed by it, because I think he sounds like a really good guy. But I watched the entire football playoffs and I watched the Super Bowl. I know what Travis Kelce looks like. It's nice that he's there. Andrew Waters, we need to figure out a Gripper Nation initiation process for Steve. Well, here's the thing. He's going to have to want to be a part of it first, but then he's going to have to work for it. Like, we're not just going to give it to him. That's Steelers fan Adam coming out with the Kelce hate. Yo, I don't hate Travis Kelce at all. He sounds awesome. Like, I honestly, he seems like he would be a blast. And his brother Jason just seems like a party. I just, like, I've seen him on camera a few times. You must have too. He and his brother played hockey. Yeah, I think, who else is a big hockey fan in the NFL? The Watt brothers. I think they all played hockey. And I love the Watt brothers. Two of the three being on the Steelers. Here we go. McDavid. Whoop. Broken up by the Stars. 36.6%. That is the Edmonton Oilers power play in these playoffs. That is bonkers. By the way, this is the best single postseason playoff percentage since the Islanders in 1981. You had to have played a minimum of 13 games, right? These are teams that got deep. But the Islanders in 1981 had a 37.8%. So not that much different than where the Oilers are now. The Oilers could probably catch them. The Islanders power play in 1981 consisted of Mike Bossy, Brian Trottier, Tonelli, Potvin, and Person. That's a especially with Mike Bossy. For my money, the most underrated scorer in NHL history is Mike Bossy. Also kind of a grumpy guy. Weirdly enough, didn't like Wayne Gretzky. Probably because Wayne was stealing the thunder. You know? Here comes Draisaitl in. Dallas's PK is not that aggressive, interestingly. They seem to want to shoot, form their diamond, and then they're content to let you handle it along the wall. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing to manage Edmonton. Because, I mean, Edmonton is they're not generating a ton of shots here, but they are out shooting Dallas 10-2. Seguin, can't get it out. Weak backhand. McDavid driving the net. Love to see it. And we are 3 seconds away from Esa Lindell being out of the box. Broken up by Seguin there. Okay. They get out of it. Good for the Stars. Good for the Stars. That was really good. Now it's time to put your best players on the ice. And you have, Lindell falls. Time to put your best players, Tanev falls. Time to put your best players on the ice and get some shots going. Get some bodies in front of Stuart Skinner. You got into his brain early. He's only faced 2 shots and let in a goal. So you're at about you're batting 50. You're batting 500 here. Get a goal, make it happen. Oh boy, Jake Ottinger's been an absolute stud for the Stars. Oh, he doesn't have it covered. Where is the defense to box those Edmonton Oilers forwards out? You got to be physical. You got to be more physical than that. You can't let Edmonton get in there and dig with their sticks. Now, listen, I watched the Dallas Stars run to the finals in 2020. They were all defense at that time. Defensively, they'd never let you do that. What's going on here? Who's on McLeod? You can't do that. You cannot let them do that. See, see what McLeod's able to do there? No way should that ever happen. Aaron Backhouse. Real question, will there be grip drip? I do think so, Gripper Nation. I do think so. And hey, shout out to Cassie. You don't need to know. Gifting 20 SDPN memberships. Cassie, you absolute rock star. Thank you for that. Amazing. Adam, you're neglecting Gripper Nation in the chat. I am not neglecting Gripper Nation in the chat. We're all hanging. Gripper Nation has been acknowledged. The Oilers have been way too comfortable digging at Ottinger. The Dallas Green needs to get those guys out of there. Smeef, you're right. They absolutely do. And you know what? Edmonton is just crushing Dallas in the first period. 13-2 are the shots. And let's talk about the play. Let's talk about the fact that the Oilers are able to force Dallas to take a power play, a penalty there too. Like if this was a more even game, Lindell doesn't go to the box there because he doesn't need to, because he doesn't need to make a play like that. Oh, there we go. Seguin. Oh. Yeah. That Seguin line looks good. Robertson and Dadonov. Dangerous. It's the only line. Wow. Do you see what's going on here? Do you see what the Oilers were able to do again there, driving the net? Dylan Holloway is able to just literally get on his train tracks and drive a freight train right through Jake Ottinger. You cannot let him do that. And it was cool that he's checking in on Ottinger. Like, that's great. Very respectful. I'm thrilled. But where is Dallas's defense on that? You got to be way more physical. And that's hockey, by the way. He's allowed to drive the net. He's absolutely allowed to do that. But you need Dallas to pick it up here physically. You know what you do? There are certain things, and I could see it in the Toronto series. Boston makes things so unpleasant in front of the net that certain Toronto players just wouldn't go. You'd see them drive around like Dylan Holloway would, and they would just go around the net. I don't want to go in front. That's going to be too painful. Dallas needs to create an environment here for the Edmonton forwards who get a lot of their goals in and around the net. Guys like Zach Hyman, Dylan Holloway's trying to do that too. You got to make life so uncomfortable and unpleasant that that Edmonton players don't want to go there. Nah, I'd rather not do that. I'd rather stick it around the half boards. Tim Robichaud, say this in your best Hogan, what you're going to do. Run Gripper Nation runs wild on you. All right. What you going to do, brother, when Gripper Nation runs wild on you? I'm not great with impressions, but thank you. You got it, Tim. Should have been Macho Man Randy Savage voice. You know who? Steve does a great Macho Man voice. I don't think I do a good one. Sorry, I've been watching Mad Max Fury Road in anticipation of Furiosa. Really excited to see Furiosa. Mad Max was awesome. It's too bad the on-set was so bad because I guess Charlize Theron and what was the other guy's name? They didn't like each other very much. But damn, gotta tell you, love that movie. George Miller, genius. Mr. Canadian Hero, I think we can all answer this question for you. Just caught here. Who do you think has had the better start so far? Very easy. The Edmonton Oilers. And Dallas is very lucky not to be down 2 or 3-1. Jake Ottinger's been very solid. And Stuart Skinner hasn't had to do much. Mad Max 2 will always be the best one. Yes, you're right. I saw like the original Mad Max, like the first one. Very cool as well. And Thunderdome is goofy. But yeah, really like Mad Max. All about it. Suitors in, we're in the last 5 minutes here. Game has calmed down a little bit. There was some really high scoring chances or high quality scoring chances early. Oh, there you go. Heiskanen. Here we go. By the way, I think I turned on a Siri here in the building. It was mine. I think I said Heiskanen and I thought it said hey Siri. Here? Did you hear that? Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Mm-hmm. See? What'd I tell you? It kind of freaks me out though. Because I was like, where's that coming from? Otter is the only reason the Stars were the favorites going into me. To me, high-end talent with good depth trumps lacking superstars, but elite depth in the playoffs. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we? I mean, listen, Dallas is a very, very good team, but if Edmonton wins this game, I think there's going to be a lot of shocked people, especially because Dallas started this game at home and started the last one at home. Janmark through center. See what I mean? Game's slowing down a little bit. These guys I think they've given a lot. Whoop! Almost a bit of a breakaway there. I like Evander Kane on that. And there's the Seguin line. Honestly, the only line that's had anything remotely close to going here for the Dallas Stars. They're out there again. It's Dadonov, it's Robertson, it's Tyler Seguin, and Tyler Seguin who had another goal. Or sorry, Jamie Benn had the goal. He had the goal, but he's been missing in action ever since. 2 minutes and 4 seconds left to go, guys. They said it was going to be loud tonight in Dallas, but it seems quiet. Well, Shayla, it was loud when they scored, but Connor Brown shut them all up because he scored within a minute. Made it happen. It was awesome. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. That's good playoff hockey. Score within a minute. Two minutes left in the first. Comes McDavid along the half boards. Let's see if they get something going here. If they can get a goal right before the end of the period, that might be a dagger for the Dallas Stars. Well, it wouldn't. It's not might be. It would be a dagger for the Dallas Stars, Gripper Nation. We would that would not be good. Here comes Draisaitl on the turnover through the neutral zone. Dallas is back, but Evan Bouchard with a nice little slippery shot through. McDavid can't get to it. Okay, puck's out of the ice, or puck's in the crowd, that is. 1:09 in the first period. Wow. All right, what are we saying, Gripper Nation? MKI Sports, just listen to this stream while I'm at work. Hashtag Gripper Nation. Let's go. Let's go. 1 minute left in the first period. 16 shots, Edmonton. 4 for Dallas. 4. Big run. Awesome job, Adam. I'm glad I can watch you all. Thank you so much. You know, it's funny. Our energy we were all up and excited midway through this period, and now it's kind of slowed down. These two teams are like, you know what? Let's go to intermission and not get a lot done. Offensive zone face-off for the Dallas Stars. Won by Jamie Benn. Here we go with a shot from the point. Nope. Tim Robichaud, real question this time. If you took the two best players of each of these teams, where do they end up off of each of these teams? Where do they end up in the standings? Is Dallas still a contender, and is Edmonton a dumpster fire? Man, I don't even know which two players you would consider the best two players on Dallas because they're so even. Pretty obvious with Edmonton. I think the Edmonton team without McDavid, Draisaitl doesn't make the playoffs. That's honestly how I feel. I think the Dallas team does, but I think they look a little bit more like Nashville, where they're lacking in star power and play together as a cohesive unit, but probably don't get much past maybe they get into the second round on a whim. Oiler fan to Adam. Love the streams. Do you think McDavid is hurt? Not playing like I would expect him to. Well, T.A. Neiman, you know what? It's entirely possible. Most guys are at this stage in the game. But I have to say, I thought game one for him was his best game since the first round. I thought that Vancouver did a really good job. And you got to remember, McDavid still has, 20 assists in these playoffs? So we're grading on a curve here. But I would say that I thought Vancouver did a good job containing him as much as you can because you can't stop him. So as far as I'm concerned, I think he played great last game. So no, I don't think he's that hurt. If he is, I think he's just matching up really, really well against Tanev and Lindell. And I wonder how long the coaching staff for Dallas are going to stick with it. The chat is surprisingly mild. Rise up, Gripper Nation. Yo, the chat was humming, guys. Listen, if you're just getting here, the chat was humming. But we get through ebbs and flows here. It's like a hockey game. You ebb and you flow. That Jamie Benn goal was sweet. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Because it is the end of the period, I'm going to run a little clip. And what do we have? Oh, this is great. So Jesse and CJ did a show together for the CJ show on Friday. And Jesse did a great job hosting. Julian's back next week. Tavares and his future in Toronto. Let's have a look at that, and I'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Seems like he's definitely not going to waive his no movement clause and leave Toronto, and that an extension on July 1st is a possibility for John Tavares.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't put definite anywhere in this situation when it comes to the Leafs, but I would say there's nothing about his demeanor and the way he's discussing things that makes me believe that he's going to look to go anywhere else. And who can blame him? I mean, let's not forget when John Tavares signed a 7-year deal in Toronto. He had lots of other suitors. He could have been in San Jose or Boston or Tampa or Dallas at the time. And, he put his eggs in this basket. He's, those 3 kids that were with him in Prague, they've all since come into him and his wife's life since they've been here in Toronto and been back closer to family. I mean, he's as established as you could be in this place. And I think if there's one takeaway I have in watching him there is he was Canada's best player to my eyes in the games he's played, or certainly in the conversation his best 2 or 3. And that's a good news for the Leafs. I mean, either way, if him performing at a top level, maybe finishing the season in this manner too. I mean, I don't yet know what's going to happen, but Canada has a semifinal game. They haven't lost at the tournament yet. I mean, they've certainly got a chance to come home with a gold medal. And so for Tavares, maybe to have this kind of finish to the year versus, the bitterness of losing in Game 7 overtime in Boston in the first round, could be a positive for his summer, just, a springboard into what's to come. And obviously, whatever happens, it's a massive year for him. I mean, if he plays out his contract in Toronto, he would still be a free agent in 2025. And my feeling in seeing him go there, let's remember, he doesn't have to go to the World Championship. I mean, lots of prominent Canadian players finished their year, didn't even make the playoffs, and chose not to go over for one reason or another. He goes over within days of that loss to Boston. He does go over with his wife and 3 young kids, all under the age of 5. His parents are there. I mean, that's a family commitment to go play in the event. And obviously, it was a letdown for John the way the season ended. I mean, he knows his birth certificate as well as you and I can look it up. I mean, he's turning 34 in September, and he's only got so many chances left to win a Stanley Cup. And so, I think everything about what he's showing you with his behavior, with the way he's played there, with making the family sacrifice versus say just, going in and camping in Muskoka or something, going somewhere more comfortable, maybe going on a vacation somewhere warm. I think he's committed to extending his career as long as he can play. And I think he wants to do it with the Maple Leafs. And I think he's still 100% committed to trying to win a Stanley Cup in his hometown. He did mention to me as well, Jesse, that Craig Berube and him had a conversation this week on the phone. And, the new head coach of his team, him being the team captain, that he intends to sit down with Craig as soon as he can when he gets back to Toronto. And so all those things, again, line up with, his mindset on being here. And so I don't know what management's going to do. I guess that's the unknown in this, is that John can have his ideas on things, but, management and ownership have a say, and perhaps they could lean on him to try to move him out of town, but it just doesn't feel like that's the direction things are headed right now.
It's cool to see that. I know every player that's in the NHL can play through May and June, but it's good to see him keep up this level of hockey through the end of May, entering June, because we've never seen him do it, so him to go over there, keep the competitive nature up and keep that high level of play up is good to see as a Leafs fan, because you want to be like, okay, if we ever made the 3rd round, how's John Tavares going to hold up? And him just going over there and playing at the level he is, you kind of see it outplay there, that he can actually do it, so that's cool. And not to say a guy like,
and
go ahead.
You know what's interesting is that, like, he, it's a bigger ice surface there, and if there's one sort of concern you'd have on his game, especially gets older, is just he was never fleet of foot to begin with. How can he handle the pace? Like, he almost looked fast there, and I get it. It's like, you can look at some of these rosters, and obviously you won't know the names of the players, but he's going up against stars. I mean, Switzerland has Roman Josi and Nico Hischier. The teams Canada's played, I mean, he's got Pasternak playing for the Czechs when they played against them. Like, he is playing against pretty top quality opponents. The games too have been very physical, especially the last few that Canada played. I missed the start of the tournament when they had, some of the easier opponents. They started with Great Britain or less accomplished opponents, but like the games lately that I watched, it's sort of playoff intensity. Like, I don't think anything is quite the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm not saying it's 1-to-1, apples to apples, but it's in those games where, quite frankly, Connor Bedard has showed very little for Canada. It looks as though maybe physically he might be a little bit overmatched or just isn't used to playing there, but certainly he hasn't found his stride. And you see where someone experienced and so strong on a stick, the way John is, and then again, the way I see him keeping up with the game, like, those are all encouraging signs. And, you know, that's why I say, like, I don't know how this is going to end. I mean, maybe Canada loses 2 games to finish the tournament. They come home with no medal, and you just look at it and go like, oh, what was the point? But certainly it just feels like this could actually be a really positive thing for John personally. Obviously a pretty special experience for his family, no matter what happens on the ice, just to be in Europe together. I mean, I got the sense that that's been really cool for him. And, you know, he's the captain of the team. I mean, there's a lot being asked of him there. And, you know, it's pretty clear to me as well that it's a big carrot for him that we have that Four Nations face-off tournament next February, and even the Olympics in 2026. So basically, you know, 18 months from now, you know, those are carrots for John Tavares. Like he loves representing his country, and, you know, that can benefit whatever team he's playing for. You know, but the Leafs right now, for sure, is that, you know, he wants to stay at the highest possible level. I think he's very driven to do that because he wants a chance to be part of those events. And so all of that to say, I got the sense he's really rejuvenated, might be the best word. You know, we spoke the other day for 10 or 12 minutes, whatever it was. And I just got a real sense like he's pretty fired up about everything that's going on in the hockey world right now. And so, you know, that's the benefit I'd always say to anyone, you know, who hasn't been to a world championship or a player thinking about it. Like, I'm sure it's difficult to take the call 2 days after your season ended and you're feeling how you're feeling after the playoffs, but it is a chance to go and maybe just kind of mentally reset and have a better feeling about your game entering the summer. And so whether it's Tavares, I mean, Pierre-Luc Dubois is playing on Canada's top line alongside him. We know what a miserable season it was for him in LA. I mean, he's played really well there. I mean, it's just a different feeling he can take into the summer. And I think that there are others that are on the team that could say the same as well. So, you know, we'll see what happens with the Leafs and the core players. I really don't think that they've yet focused too much internally on exactly how they're going to navigate this, on what it's going to look like. You know, I think some of the rumors and conjecture out there are premature just in terms of where management's at in terms of what it wants to do. But, you know, it would not surprise me with Tavares entering his final year of his deal, obviously going to take a pay cut, you know, on the next contract, wherever it's signed. It's not going to be an $11 million per year contract. And I think when you're viewing it, that's the other thing about the Worlds. When I'm there, you're just watching John Tavares play, right? And he's Canada's top line center. He's taking every big draw. He's in on all the offense. I know he only has 1 goal, but if you look at the shots he's generated, I mean, he's really had a strong tournament for them. You're not saying, oh, he's
Right.
is he an $11 million player or not? You're just saying he's a really useful player. And that's, you know, I love the salary cap in some ways, like in terms of like, I like the way that it gives us a tool to analyze things differently. Some out there obviously hate it, but, you know, it does sort of cloud the view, I think, of what a player can be, because we're measuring them against the value of what they make, instead of, you know, what they're bringing to the game. And so that's a long way of saying I think John Tavares is going to be a really valuable player still moving forward, especially once he gets beyond this current contract and he's, you know, signed at a lower number somewhere.
If we get to a couple of days from now and John Tavares is raising the little trophy for the World Championships, I feel like the organizers for the Canadian Olympic team in 2026 have to consider him. Like, I feel like he's auditioning right now.
All right, we're back. We're back and we're ready. What's going on, everybody? What'd you think of that clip? What do we think? Tavares extension? I kind of actually don't hate the idea of John Tavares. If John Tavares signs an extension in Toronto and it's announced this summer and it's below market value. So what's he probably, he's still getting a point a game, but let's say he's like, you know what, screw it. I want the Leafs to win so bad that I want to make $5 million a year. He's instantly one of the most popular Leafs of all time. You know, you know, we were talking a little bit on Friday about this, about Domi and Bertuzzi and what their deals might be. And if you're an Oiler fan, or you're a Dallas fan, you'll laugh at this. Like, Max Domi obviously was great for the Dallas Stars in the playoffs, and I'm dying to see him go deeper. But the numbers they were throwing out there clearly from the agents were like, for at least Max was like $6 million and on a long-term deal. And I don't think the Leafs can pay that. Whether or not he gets that, he'll get that somewhere, I'm sure. But I don't think the Leafs can do that. If we had some guys who started saying, you know what, how about this? And if I were the Leafs, this is what I would do. We got the best, most connected sales staff in the entire country. Everybody wants to buy Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll hook you up with some endorsements on the sly. We're going outside of the salary cap. Shh, don't tell Gary. Sign here for less. I think that's a compelling pitch. I mean, they tried that with Stamkos a few years ago, and he didn't take it. I'm just saying. $5 million is still too much for a 3C. I don't actually think it is, especially one as good as Tavares. Remember, what kind of 3C are we talking about? Like, are we talking about a 3C? Let's look at John Tavares' stats. Okay, John Tavares. We're gonna go into John Tavares. Now they do need a 2C. I agree with you. John Tavares had in 80 games this year 65 points. Now, let's say he sticks in and around 60 points, 60 to 65 points, and then it'll go down a little bit. But he had 80 points last year. And, yeah, this year was a bit of an off year. It was not a great year by his standards. The last time it wasn't a great year by his standards was when he was coming off that brutal concussion in the 2021 playoffs. That was 21-22. Still had almost a point a game, and then came roaring back last year with 80 points in 80 games. If you can get a guy locked down because he wants to be here to that kind of money, to play good defense, maybe eventually he moves to the wing. I don't know, man. I don't hate it because here's the thing: if you get, you're going to need to draft some players here and get some new guys into the system. But Tavares eventually will play on the wing. That's what I think, and a lot of people kind of say that. So Tavares eventually playing on the wing is solid because he doesn't need the speed to drive in the same way, but he's going to be a guy that if you need a defensive zone center to take a face off that you got a good shot at winning, Tavares is your guy. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, well, first off, he's never going to raise, or he's never going to waive his no trade. So why couldn't he? Why couldn't he just, sign an extension, team friendly? Leaf fans would love him. Aaron Grace, $5 million seems fair for a fringe 2C, ideal 3C. I agree. Here's where you get into trouble. Okay, it's when you're paying Ilya Mikheyev close to $5 million and he's on your fourth line. That's too much. Tavares is, for my money, a guy that, if he keeps this up, should have a good look at the Hall of Fame, whether or not he wins the cup. This is a guy that's been an Olympian. This is a guy that's won at every level, except for, he's never got past the second round. Not entirely his fault. He was on the most dysfunctional Islanders team for years. And then he came to Toronto and ran into a management group that wouldn't admit its own mistakes. How much of that is on him? I mean, listen, you need him to get it done on the ice, but at the same time, the management group could have changed course much earlier and should have and didn't. So I don't know. That's my opinion. And for everybody that doesn't think John Tavares is a Hall of Famer, he already has 1,040 points. He's already among, I believe, top scorers NHL all time. Where does John Tavares? Let's see, most points in their career. Okay. John Tavares is already, and he's not done, by the way. He's already in the top 100. Yeah, he's okay. So here's a fun fact. John Tavares has 1,040 points in 1,100 games. You know who's got 1,041? Daniel Sedin in 1,306 games. You know who also has 1,040 points in 1,294 games? Patrice Bergeron. So I'm looking at the people ahead of him, and I'm seeing Sedin, Richard, Denny Potvin, Pat Verbeek, Eric Stahl, Joe Mullen, Ray Whitney. Ray Whitney, who does not get enough credit, by the way. Ray Whitney was a great player. Yeah, I mean, like, Dave Taylor from the LA Kings is like 20 points ahead of him. Like, guys, I actually, if he does this, and again, you got to remember, Tavares is 33. if he does 60 or 70 points a year for 3 or 4 more years, that's going to put him in probably, because remember, it starts to compress now, right? That's going to put him in the neighborhood of 1,400 points, which is the top 30 scorer all time. And all of those people are in the Hall of Fame. All of them. There's not a single person in the 1,300 point conversation that is not either already in the Hall of Fame or in contention for it because they're still playing, because Patrick Kane and Malkin are in there. Yeah. John Tavares is, to me, he's a Hall of Fame lock eventually, whether or not he wins a cup. What accomplishments did the Sedins have? Well, they went to the finals. The Sedins, listen, we have to look at it. CJ made a really good point on his podcast. I think it was last year. He's like, there's 32 teams in the NHL right now. We're probably climbing to 34, 36 in the next few years. We're going to have to look at players for the Hall of Fame who haven't won the cup, because it's going to be so bloody hard to do. Like the guys that get multiple cups that score that kind of points, they're absolutely locks for sure. But we are going to have to look at players out that did things outside of that. You know, I don't know. Yeah, Sedins have gold medals. Bergeron had Selkies. Yeah, I agree. So okay, so if Tavares wins a cup, is he then a lock? Listen, I'm with you. You got to win. But I think you got to give Tavares his due here. If you were the Leafs and you could only sign one free agent defenseman this offseason, who would you get? I asked Steve the same question. He said Tanev. I do agree that Tanev would probably be the best one, because I think Tanev's at the point of his career. First off, he's from Toronto. I think he might want to come here anyway. And he would probably be actually a really good money fit. Like, I don't think he's going to ask crazy money. And you have to look at him as like an earlier Giordano. So Gio's play fell off here in the last couple of years, but when Giordano first came to Toronto, he was really effective. And if they had got him, say, 2 years earlier, he won the Norris Trophy when he was like 35, right? So Tanev, I really like it. And I think the thing is that I love a guy like Nikita Zadorov. And I don't think, listen, if you watch hockey and you like personality, Zadorov's your guy. By the way, here's the face-off. Love that guy. Zadorov's going to make a lot of money. And, you know, Julian covered him a lot. Julian McKenzie from the CJ show. Excuse me, I'm having a coffee, so for whatever reason, I keep burping, and I apologize. Julian's like, listen, essentially, this guy's on like a really good team, a third pairing guy. And he's right. And so, like, we talk about, is $5 million for a 3C a lot? Is $6 million, which is likely what he's going to get, a lot for a 4, 5, 6 guy? Because listen, Zadorov in the playoffs was spectacular. I loved him, and I want him to be a Leaf. Trust me, want him to be a Leaf. But can you get 2 Tanevs for that amount of money? You know? The other guy on the market that I'm interested in, because the Leafs, underratedly so, need puck-moving defensemen. So you look at, let's watch Dallas here. Watch Dallas, watch Edmonton. Watch how quickly these guys set up and move. And Edmonton's doing an amazing job of it. And Edmonton, obviously, they've got some big money on defense with Darnell Nurse. But Evan Bouchard and Matthias Ekholm do a great job of moving the puck. They get the puck in their zone, and they make smart choices, and they get it out of their zone. And that is the worst Cody Ceci giveaway I've ever seen, and I've seen so many of them. What the hell was that? What is he thinking? Oh, my God. Gives the puck right to Matt Duchene with a clear shot at the net. Cody, what are we doing? Oh, my God. Dylan Holloway wasn't even positioned to get a puck there. Just chip, man. Man, this is where Cody Ceci drives me crazy. But anyway, you look at the way that Nurse is able to do it. You look at the way that Ekholm and Bouchard are able to move the puck. And I feel bad for Morgan Riley a little bit, because he is the only guy on the team that can really move the puck. And the reason they brought in, they took a flyer on, almost a goal there. That was close. Dallas is looking pretty strong here. 20 seconds in the O-zone already on pressure here. We'll get back to this in a second. The reason that the Leafs took a shot at John Klingberg was because when he was at his best and not super injured, that was a defenseman that could really move the puck. And yeah, his defensive metrics were terrible, but like, okay, fine. Find other defensemen to play defense. And yeah, it was a mistake, but okay. You took your shot. It didn't work. Other things that you did work. I would look at Philip Hronek, who, and you got to remember, guys, if you're buying somebody in free agency, you are paying too much, especially at their prime. You're going to overpay. So if you're going to overpay, is it better to bring in a guy who might be $8 million, who's, I believe, if Philip Hronek is what, a $7 to an $8 million defenseman, right? Puck moving guy. That's about what Morgan Riley makes. So you split those two up. You put Riley on one defense pair. You put Hronek on the other defense pair. I believe, is Hronek a right shot? Doesn't really matter. You got to get guys in like that. Yeah, he's a right shot. He'd be kind of perfect, actually. And yeah, it would be an overpay and whatever. But you got to have puck movement. And I look at, when I watch these teams play, and I look at New York and Florida too, they have guys who move the puck so quickly out of the defensive zone. And if you're a Leaf fan, if you've ever watched the Leafs, laughed at the Leafs, made a ton of jokes at the expense of the Leafs, good for you. You should. They don't move quickly. They are sluggish. Painfully so. And they have to rely so much on Riley or Marner to move the puck because they really don't have the horses to do it. And so when Treliving overhauls this blue line, I'm going to be curious to see what he does because obviously he wants to get bigger, but you need puck moving back there. And he knew last summer that they did, which is why the Klingberg thing, it was a 1-year deal, whatever. You got out of it. Here you go. McDavid. Oh, that was Hyman. Hyman using the booty power. We talk about Gripper Nation. If Hyman was doing these streams, it would be like Booty Nation. Jake Ottinger just got a full view of Zach Hyman's butt. And his helmet came off because of it. Toronto can't have more overpays. They are overpaying Matthews and Nylander. LOL. Okay, well, 70 goals. I don't think you're overpaying anybody, but we can agree to disagree. And Nylander had, 96 points? I don't know. I'm okay with those contracts. I think you just can't have 4 of them on the same team. Nothing against Mitch. Hronek is an RFA, not a UFA. Yeah, but he's not likely to sign in Vancouver, I don't think. And I don't have any insight on that. I know he's an Alan Walsh client. Alan hasn't told me anything. That's not... Alan's not... he's not an insider source for me. I think that is going to be a sign and trade. Unless something completely changes. Like you look at Vancouver, they have a ton of money coming off the books, but they're still feeling the effects of the Jim Benning ridiculously weird spends, like Garland at $5 million. Yeah. Listen, I loved Connor Garland in the playoffs, but that's still a lot. Mikheyev is the one that is just crushing. $4.75 million, dude. He's not worth that. And he never was. And I loved him in Toronto, and he's not worth that. Like, what did he have this year? Just going through Vancouver. 31 points? Dude, that's a freaking nightmare. You want to talk about overpay? That's an overpay. If you're like, oh, I might be paying $500,000 too much for a guy that scores 70 goals, whatever. And I actually don't even think the Leafs are. You wait till you see the next McDavid contract. You wait till you see the Leon Draisaitl contract. Those contracts are going to be big. Here we go. Oop. Dylan Holloway. Through 5 minutes of this period, no sense that the Oilers are dominating anymore, but I wouldn't say that Dallas has come out and stolen the show either. Here comes Evander Kane across the line. Dylan Holloway, deep. There's Holloway. Down to, Draisaitl looked up. Draisaitl does not look good right now. Are you guys seeing that? He's either tired or his back. Did you see that? Am I the only one? I can't wait to find out what he's been playing through because he's been an absolute machine. Is the clock broken? I don't know. Is it broken? I think producer Hayden's done a good job of doing that. Does Draisaitl get more than Matthews? Yes. Unless he doesn't want to. But yeah, of course he gets more than Matthews. Here's the thing about Leon Draisaitl. Not only does he get more points, and he does, because Matthews is a big goal scorer, not as many on the assists, but Leon has had the opportunity and taken the opportunity to perform in the playoffs. It's a guy with already 100 postseason playoff points. Like, what do you even say to that? Is Draisaitl the Terminator? Yes, Pierre-Luc Dubois, he is. Like, Draisaitl's going to get whatever he wants. McDavid's going to get whatever he wants. Hyman with a shot. Oh, man. Tanev Lindell, not sure about this matchup against McDavid. Stankoven up. There's Jamie Benn. Big and scary and goatee. Here you go. Oh, baby, what a save by Stuart Skinner. Oh, Skinner's in the game, folks. That was a big save and a great play. Sitting Magic 15. I wonder if there's a trade out there for Mikheyev. Listen, there's a trade out there for anybody. It's how much money are you willing to retain? And I don't think the Canucks want to retain money on that deal. I think that they're like, you know what? We may just have to eat this. James Scaresbrook, would McDavid get a $95 million AAV? You know what? If this was a cap-free world, McDavid's getting $20 million. That guy's so good. And if you think I'm crazy, let me just posit to you that Wayne Gretzky in 1993 was making $9 million with the LA Kings. In 1993. In 1993 dollars. Right? Best players in the league, they're always worth like double most of the other guys. I would think Mikheyev would have to be a pure dump since no team would give assets to help Vancouver for a player that doesn't finish at a high enough clip. Aaron Grace, yeah, you know what Mikheyev would be perfect for? He'd be perfect for a team like what the Coyotes used to be. But the problem with Mikheyev's deal, I would think, is, let me pull it up. I don't think it's paid in bonuses. Yeah, there are no... Man, Jim Benning. Holy moly. Like, none. There are no bonuses on that contract, which makes it less tradable. You look at like a Marner deal. So if you're trading Marner, Mitch Marner's actual salary next year, after July 1st, this year, will be $900,000. So as an owner, okay, you're looking at the cap against the cap, right? You're looking at, okay, well, his cap hit is close to $11 million, blah, 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 blah. But the actual dollars paid, $900,000, because you know the Leafs are going to pay that bonus. Okay? And then you're like, if you're the GM and you're trying to say, we need to get Mitch Marner in here, even if you pay him $100 million, let's say, over 8 years, so it's $12 million a year. What actually that evens out to is $100 million over 9 years. That's how you look at it. From a business perspective, you would say, okay, that actually brings the financial cost down for us because we can take that money that we're not paying him in year one and look at it like it's averaged out over the 9 years that we expect him to be here. It's a sweetheart deal. Mikheyev, that's untradeable. What's a buyout for him since we're doing this? And I feel bad saying this because I really like Mikheyev when he was in Toronto. I also think part of it is you got to play for the right coach sometimes when you're a very specific player. So the cap hit for Vancouver isn't bad if you buy him out. 1.15 million this year, 2.5 the next, or 2.15 the next year, 1.5 the following 2 years. So it's not ideal. It still might make more sense to just keep him. See if you can get something out of him. I don't think that player is going to get moved on that deal. So you're buying him out or you're paying. Oh, I just set off my Siri again. Franchise Shark Leon next year. Benning didn't sign the Mikheyev deal? I'm pretty sure he did. Pretty sure he did. If Benning didn't sign the Mikheyev deal, who was the general manager of the Canucks in 2022? No way. Alvin signed it. What? No way. Patrick. Damn, I'm wrong. It was. That deal was so bad, I thought it was Benning. That is rough. Oh, baby. That is rough. Stars power play, 42 seconds left. Not a whole lot going on. The Oilers special teams. Listen, we gotta put a little thing. If your special team sucks going into the playoffs, good luck winning. Every team that has superior special teams in each series wins. End of story. So if your team's power plays on a cold streak and your coaching staff won't adjust, you're toast. Bye. First round over. And Edmonton has been. Yeah. Do you remember a couple years ago, this Oilers team was like, what were they? They were so bad on the PK. It was like they were like 50%. It was horrible. Look what they've done since then. You know, I know, again, people love to give Ken Holland shit, but you can't deny team plays good defense now. I don't know how much of that is him. Hire the right coach. Yes. And was Chris Knobloch his choice? I don't know. Seems like Jeff Jackson's choice, to be honest. But damn, what a turnaround in those metrics. Yeah, with apologies to Jim Benning. Listen, Jim Benning signed enough bad contracts that it's fair of me to attribute most bad things on the Canucks to him. So here's the thing about this game, and this is fascinating. Whoop! We talked about this a bit on the podcast on Friday. Here comes Draisaitl, shorthanded. Players out of the eye. Whoop! Now he loses it. And look at how quickly Dallas turns that puck around. Here's Duchesne flying in. Little tip. Missed. Skinner doesn't have to make a save there. The Dallas Stars have lost 7 straight game ones. I believe their last game 1 win was in the Stanley Cup Final, if I remember Jesse's commentary on that on Friday. That is the longest active streak in the NHL. In game 2s, since then, they are 4-2, and they outscore their opponents 21-14. So this is interesting because they have gotten away with conceding that first game a lot, and they've seen a lot of playoff success. But they got to win. And they're not a lock to win every time. Oilers, Stuart Skinner, by the way, in his last 3 games is 3-0-0 with a 1.50 goals against average and a 923 save percentage. For a guy that was less than 800 in a couple of games in the Canucks series, that's pretty damn good. Another guy you got to look out for is your boy Leon Draisaitl. We're talking about multi-point playoff games in Oilers history. Draisaitl and McDavid are getting to the point where they are cracking the top 5. McDavid has 6 multi-point games this postseason. Draisaitl has 9. Both have 31 total multi-point career playoff games with the Oilers. They are tied for 5. The next closest guy to them is Glenn Anderson with 50, Jari Kurri with 54, Messier with 57, and Gretzky with 73. That's the thing. It's so unfair to try to go for all-time Oilers records because it was not only is it the best player of all time and his band of merry men who were also fantastic, but the top 3 scorers ever. Like, it's just stupid. It's stupid. That Oilers team was it's just crazy when you look at some of those stats. You know, Gretzky getting 2 points a game, 3 points a game in a playoff run, like bonkers. If I were to look at, let's go Gretzky. Let's look up his stats just to give you an idea here. I've always been, you're blown away by the 215 point series or season that Gretzky put together. But look at this. His best playoff was 84-85, and I don't even think they won that year. Or was it 85-86 they didn't win? Yeah, 85-86 they didn't win. 84-85, their second Stanley Cup, Gretzky had 47 points in 18 games. And that's back when there was only 3 rounds. 47 points in 18 games. He also, in 1988, did 43 in 19. It's stupid. It's outrageous. And he did 40 in 24 games for the Los Angeles Kings in the early 90s when they made the Stanley Cup Final, including breaking the Leafs' heart. Wow. Just unbelievable. 382 points in 208 career playoff games. Adam, would you trade Marner for Byram and Yoki Haru? No. And the reason I say that is I don't think that the Leafs are... Listen, I love Bowen Byram. I think he's great. I think the Leafs are not even sure who they would trade him to yet, but it seems like if you're going to trade within the division, you had better be sure on your plan, because every time that guy comes back to Toronto, he's going to hang one on you. Every time. Hey, Wiggleman, or Wiljaman. I don't know if it's a Wiggleman, but I'm going to call you Wiggleman. 5 SDPN memberships. Thank you for doing that. We all owe Gretzky a debt of gratitude for breaking the Leafs' heart. Man. Oh, it was painful. It's still painful to think about. I was told recently that Gretzky has more 4+ point games than 0-point games, and the more you think about it, the crazier it gets. Maxime, that is a crazy stat, and I don't know that. Yeah. Wow. That's freaking crazy. He just never didn't score. Unreal. Yeah, we got 1,000 people in the house. What's up, everybody? Leafs haven't called anyone on the possibility of trading Marner yet. Julian, they don't need to. Believe me, they're getting calls. See, the wording of that statement is important, because when something like that comes out, the way that they will, if that came from the Leafs organization through a source, which it did, the Leafs, who traditionally don't talk to anybody, if that came through a source, they haven't called anybody. That does not mean that other general managers haven't called them. Doesn't mean that other agents haven't called. Trust me when I tell you, that's them going, oh, we haven't called anybody. Doesn't mean they're not picking up the phone. Not hockey related, but loved the Monaco stream this morning. Hey, thanks so much. I'm glad. These streams are so much fun. I love doing this. I love hanging out with you guys. It's Saturday night. Other than being at home with my wife, I don't think there'd be another place I'd want to be. Here comes Draisaitl. Whoop. I'm happy to support you guys. I've enjoyed your content since a deep, dark place known as the 2010s. Hey, the 2010s were good. It's the 2020s that have been freaking wild, man. Well, I guess things started to go downhill in 16, I guess. But the 2020s have just been just mind-blowing with the obnoxiousness of them. You know, do you guys remember the Harlem Shake? That used to be like the biggest news of the day. Imagine that in today's world. Gary Hall, this sucks. Feed cut by YouTube ads, but still not getting premium. Well, Gary, listen. YouTube ads sticks those in there. I can tell you that premium is, at least for me, very worth it. And I don't even work for YouTube. But I'll tell you, I resisted it. And Steve was like, no, you should get it. You should get it. I was like, no, I won't do it. Why would I do that? And then I realized that YouTube is most of the TV that I watch outside of live hockey. And I put the subscription in, and I have not regretted it a single day, especially if you have a kid. If you have a kid and you're throwing on Blippi or something like that, when those commercials come on, telling you. It seems like McDavid and Draisaitl have been on the ice a lot so far. Do you have their ice time? I can look it up. Oilers, Dallas, box score. I'll look at it right now. It should be on NHL.com. Here we go. Let's look at Game Center here. Oh! Time on ice, Edmonton. Looking here, guys. This is as of 7:15 left. Leon Draisaitl. This is annoying. It doesn't give you... Yeah, so Leon has played 11:04 as of like the last shift, and then McDavid has played 12:05. That's pretty much in line with what they would play, because they're going to play about 20 minutes tonight if it doesn't go to double overtime again. So, yeah, maybe McDavid's been out there a little bit more. Maybe he gets up to 22, 24. But I expect that from Stars in the playoffs. I'm actually surprised it's not more. I think what's been noticeable is they've both been really good, and they've had a lot more openings. Here come the Stars. Another missed shot. You know, I want to try to compliment the Stars here for playing better in the second period, but it's like... That's like, oh man, you don't have an F anymore. You got a D-. Not been great. The Oilers are finally getting their due as a good defensive team, and I have to admit, I have really underrated them defensively. And watching it night after night, it's sometimes you watch one game once in a while, you don't get a sense of it, but night after night after night, watching it and seeing how they protect, how they keep pucks to the outside, how they make you dump and chase, and then when you chase, they crush you. I'm really impressed with it. Really, really impressed. I think they're a lot of their defensive metrics were in the top 10 this year, which is kind of all you need when you have Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, Nuge, Kane, all these guys who are able to score a ton. The question will always be Stuart Skinner in the playoffs. He doesn't have great career numbers, but he's looked, as Hayden pointed out in our stat pack, stat god Hayden, the stat god. He's looked amazing. 3-0-0 in his last 3 games, 1.50 goals against average, save percentage in the 920s. What else do you need? That you should win every game if your goalie's playing like that. You should win every game, especially with the Oilers' firepower. So again, I'm looking for nice things to say about the Stars here. And the best I can say is that they're better, but it's still not great. They need more than just the Sagan line to look somewhat half dangerous. 5:50 left in the second period, by the way. We'll keep updating that clock every time there's a face-off, because I always forget. Here comes Sagan in. There's another shot for Sagan, not much of one. The thing I'll say for the Oilers' 20 shots is that they haven't got a ton to show for it. Like the way Edmonton has played, they probably should have more goals, but Ottinger is kind of keeping them in this bad boy. It's just like you'd expect that they would have put more in, but Jake's having a night. And maybe we're looking at something where Ottinger steals the game. Dallas gets lucky, gets a squeaker in. Bob Smith, shortest player ever was 5'3". Can you name them? Darren Pang. It's got to be Darren Pang, right? One and only. Adam's head is at the perfect crotch level of the refs. Yes, we are in the Between Two Crotches studio. That is actually a mural of me. That's my crotch. And as I say, that's Jesse's crotch, and we had to cover it. And now you know. I'm not saying it. The picture is. Oh, what a save by Stuart Skinner. Robertson line again. Robertson, Sagan, Dadonov are the only line. They just kind of put this together for this game. The only line that's looked anywhere close to dangerous for Dallas tonight. Oh, it's Nathan Gerby. Well. Panger is 5'5". Okay, well, I was close. I remember Nathan Gerby. Listen, guys, for anybody that's like, oh, how can you not remember Nathan Gerby? There's a lot in this noggin, and not all of it is the heights of fringe NHL players. Oh. Whoever asked why Edmonton is the capital of Alberta, it's because it's older. That's right. Calgary was just like a fort until about 100 years ago. There might have been 2,000 or 3,000 people there. And Fort Calgary used to fly an American flag because it was mostly populated by American Westerners. And the Canadian Mounted Police had to go in there and go, get out. And by the way, here's our flag. Calgary's a relatively new city. So is Edmonton, honestly. A lot of newness. And that's exciting. Edmonton is the capital because the guy who won his first premiere got more votes in Edmonton than Calgary, so he chose Edmonton. Is that right? I love that. I love that. Is that really the reason? That's so petty. Love that. Oh, you didn't give me the votes? Well, I guess I'm going to Edmonton then. Screw you guys. I'm going to Edmonton. That's awesome. That's a great story. Adam, what part of Calgary did you used to live in? I lived at 10th and 10th Southwest in a building, like a high-rise building across from a grocery store. And I forget what the name of the grocery store, but it's still there. It was really, really nice. And then I moved into Victoria Park in Calgary, and I had a loft there with my buddy Marty, and it had a rooftop patio on it. It was spectacular. We had this gigantic, it was an old cigarette factory, and I believe that was in, I forget what loft building that is in, but one of my friends from Calgary who works at CJ92 is now living in that building too. It's just a great place. Imagine what Edmonton could accomplish if they weren't tied to Nurse and Campbell's bad contracts. Morgan, you're not wrong. I think the Campbell contract is the worst one because let's look at it. The Nurse is giving you good minutes right now. Really good minutes. Like, I don't think you can be upset with Darnell Nurse's play. Maybe you can say, oh, we could get more if we had X, Y, and Z. I get that. But, like, okay, so I'm looking at the buyout for Darnell Nurse. Pain. That would be nothing but pain. You can't do that. So you're stuck with him. The thing with Jack Campbell is he wasn't playable. Right? Like, it's one thing to say, like, oh, well, this guy's not worth the money we signed him to. Okay, fine. But is he playable? Can you get valuable minutes out of this player? Nurse, you can. Jack Campbell, you cannot. And the thing about Jack Campbell, again, is there's no signing bonus in the structure. So if you were to buy him out, oh man, it's not even a tradable deal. I'm looking at the buyout right now. So your cap hit is 1.1 next. Let's say you buy him out this year, 1.1 next year, 2.3 the next year, 2.6 the next year, and then 1.5 the following few years. It's manageable, but I think you'd be better to try to rehab him and then try to get another team interested, and you could even retain $1 million on that. You know, you got to. I don't know. That's what I would think. Sorry, I've been leaning forward a little too much. That my neck and back are a little sore. Yeah, I don't know. It's the Jack Campbell thing. They have to sort that one out. That's bad. It's bad. I don't like that. I love Jack Campbell. All of Mexico is rooting for the Dallas Stars. El Chato in the El Chato says all of Mexico is rooting for the Dallas Stars, and as well they should. I mean, the Islanders are still paying DiPietro for another 5 years. Yeah, well, the Islanders were the garbage tire fire of the league for a long, long time. They had a Garth Snow and that the owners were best buds, but they made some really weird moves. Every team has at least one terrible contract. Agreed. You have it's not. Sometimes it's about managing them more than trying to get rid of them. Whoa! Especially with the Coyotes gone, there's no team that wants to take bad contracts anymore. You know, Utah is going to be a player now. They're going to spend a ton of money this summer. They're going to make some wowie deals this summer. You watch. That guy, Ryan Smith, he's not fooling around. So my bet is, I wonder if a team if a team rebuilds, like Chicago might be a team that takes a couple of bad contracts for some assets. You pay a price. By the way, how confusing was that Chicago Islanders trade with all the draft picks? Chicago moves up like 2 places in the first round and 4 places in the second round and has to pay an extra second for that. Did Lou Lamoriello just fleece someone, or is there something going on? Seoul is the capital of Gripper Nation. That's hilarious. That was a weird deal. Any Blackhawks and Islanders fans in the chat? Can you shed some light? Do not understand. Do not understand that deal. E. Alexander, do the Canucks trade Hronek? I think so. I think the Hronek camp is pretty staunch in whatever their ask is, and I think the Canucks are like, we can't pay it. And I think maybe the Canucks are thinking it's Zadorov or Hronek, and if they keep Zadorov, they've got a better shot at signing somebody else because Hronek's going to cost more than Zadorov is. The question will be, oh, here comes Kane. Nice little rush by, if the Zadorov deal, like if it's $6 million a year, it could be, right? It could be. Remember, Hronek is a top line defenseman. Like that guy he is a puck moving guy. Doesn't mean that he's the best defenseman in the league or even top 10, but that is a very talented hockey player. I don't know. Oop, Ekholm. See, now we get Dallas. S. Lindell pushing on McDavid a little bit there. You need that. You need more of that. The Green have got to push Edmonton out of the crease here. Edmonton's running the crease far too much. Adam, you will understand that deal when the draft happens. I guess. Like, are the Chicago Blackhawks so sure that their guy is at number 18? Like when you look at the Leafs Nation used to do some crazy stuff. And one of the things that they did, and I think just who did this? Or was it Justin Bourne when he was at the Score? Anyway, what they did was they kind of averaged out the average amount of NHL games played by people and where their draft order was. And they basically figured out that once you get past pick 10, picks 11 through, or it's like pick 15 or something, picks 15 or 16 through pick 45, it's like a line that it just goes like this, right? So it really flattens out. You do find some gems in later in the first round. Look at Dallas; they're amazing at it. But I just don't know that it's like, oh, I'm going to pay a second rounder to move 2 spots. I don't get it. As a Canucks fans, I'd rather keep Zadorov over Hronek. Well, and you know what? Maybe the thing is that Zadorov is more useful based on what he brings than what Hronek brings. I just think Hronek and Quinn Hughes were spectacular, and it'd be a shame to see that only last for a year. The issue with keeping Zadorov or Hronek is the OEL buyout. Yeah. Actually, I think the issue with keeping Zadorov or Hronek is the Mikheyev and Garland contracts. And I love Connor Garland, by the way. But, both of those guys make up $10 million. Maybe you find a way to move off of that. Dave Glatz, that deal happened last year because Chicago kept trying to move up for Oliver Moore and couldn't. So he did the deal early instead. But who's this year's Oliver Moore, and how does he know he's going to be available at 18? Because I'll tell you, if I saw Chicago do that, if I saw Chicago doing that, I'd be like, who do they want to select at 18? Oh, it's this guy? Cool. I'll call them and say, I'm taking him at 14 or I'm taking him at 12 unless you pay me not to. Is Zadorov going to be another Jeff Finger? Absolutely not. Do you guys know the story with the Jeff Finger contract? I don't know how many of you guys remember Jeff Finger, but Jeff Finger was a Colorado Avalanche defenseman. And he was a free agent. He had a really good year in Colorado. And apparently, the Leafs general manager at the time, Cliff Fletcher, on his second go-around with the Leafs, got confused as to which Colorado defenseman he wanted. This is the story from behind the scenes. And the defenseman he likely wanted was Martin Skula. And all of a sudden, the Leafs signed this Jeff Finger guy for $16 million over 4 years, and no one's heard of him, and no one can understand why. And the media is like, well, maybe they did it because of this. But it's low-key one of the worst contracts in Leafs history because Jeff Finger was playing in the AHL by the second year because he just wasn't worth that. And back then, I think you could bury contracts with no penalty. Wade Redden was another guy. The New York Rangers signed Wade Redden, and I think he was making like $6 million a year, and they just buried him. They're like, yeah, no, you're going to the minors now. And there was no cap penalty back then for it. You could just put him in the minors. And that's why they started to say, oh, yeah, okay. There is a cap penalty for that, by the way. Anyway, I think Martin Skula was the guy that the Leafs probably wanted, and I have to be honest, they were really not a well-run franchise. They were terribly run. Mistakes like that can't happen. Oh, it was Kurt Sauer. It was Kurt Sauer, not Martin Skula. My bad. Kurt Sauer. You should look up Kurt Sauer. He's a great defenseman for Colorado. All right, let's play a clip here. Take a little breather. Play a little clippage. And let's see what we got. Drew picked these clips, so we'll see what Drew picked. Oh, Don Waddell stepping down in Carolina and is likely going to Columbus. Have a look at this. It's from the SDP on Friday. And Don Waddell, by the way, once you watch this clip, I encourage you after the game to go and listen to the CJ show because CJ has some great insights on what Don Waddell will likely bring to the Columbus Blue Jackets should he sign there. I don't think that deal's official yet, but it's looking like it's going to happen unless it is official. Hang on. I just want to make sure. I can't even remember anymore, guys. I haven't slept well in weeks. Yeah, he did step down. But yeah, the implication is that he's going to sign with Columbus. He brings a lot more than just being a general manager. But I'll let you play this clip first, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about what CJ said. It was reported yesterday that Don Waddell of the Carolina Hurricanes interviewed for the Columbus Blue Jackets job. It's also been reported that Ken Holland has been linked to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting about the Don Waddell thing is that, and I'm tying this into the Oilers with Holland, is that last time Don Waddell was up, and I think it was CJ that brought this up with you, he interviewed to be the Minnesota GM and then was like, nah, I'll stay in Carolina at whatever number they're paying me. Mm-hmm. And so I think Tom Dundon is playing chicken again, but I think this time he's got Eric Tulsky waiting, and does he need him?
Well, and do you just want the latest news?
Is it new?
As of 32 minutes ago, Carolina Hurricanes president and general manager Don Waddell has resigned from his post.
Whoa!
Assistant general manager Eric Tulsky will take over for Waddell on an interim basis with the support of fellow assistant Darren York. The organization has begun a full search for a permanent GM. Waddell's contract was set to expire.
Wow. So I think there's probably a deal in place with Columbus there, and I wouldn't be shocked if Ken Holland still joined him. Just because, why not?
So the quote from Waddell, I'm just reading from The Score. This morning, I spoke with owner Tom Dundon and informed him that I have come to the decision that now is the time for me to move to the next chapter of my career. I have loved my experiences in the triangle is that what they call it? The triangle?
Is it because of the storm warning thing?
I don't know.
Not Bermuda.
Somebody from Carolina, let us know why it's called the Triangle. I have loved my experiences in the Triangle over the past 10 years, and together with a strong team on and off the ice, we have accomplished many great victories. I am grateful for the support I received. So many, and that organization is strong. Nothing really else except thanking people. Anyways, Don Waddell done, resigned.
I'm trying to look up Raleigh on a map.
I don't think
it doesn't look like a
This
triangle.
is where we don't. You know what? Ask Steve. Save this for the chat tonight with Steve. Super chat him. Hey Steve, why is it called the Carolina Triangle?
I don't know.
So Adam, your point. What is now? What does your opinion change on things now that he's officially out?
I pissed off a Columbus Blue Jackets fan. One Columbus Blue Jackets fan who was in the stream last night.
Okay.
Because we ran a clip from Wednesday's show, and I said they're the worst run organization now that the Coyotes are gone. And they are. They are. The results are clear as day. And if you want, don't take my word for it. Read Aaron Portzline's article. I believe it is titled "Columbus Blue Jackets: The Team That Parody Forgot."
Oh, that Leafs fan?
Yeah. Aaron, and Portsy's the man, right? Portsy rules. And I just want to say, the problem for me is that John Davidson has been the guy that's been in charge the entire time. And if you talk to people,
That issue's going around, isn't it?
Don Waddell has done a great job in Carolina. But when you talk to people about it, they say, well, actually, a lot of that's Eric Tulsky.
Yeah,
So
it's valid to bring up for the right reasons. I think it's okay to be like, Tulsky does a lot of the legwork here to gas up Tulsky. I don't like it to knock down Don Waddell.
Mm-hmm. I think Don's had a great career, and whether or not he created some of these deals, he executed them.
Yeah, but
He signed off.
And
that's a good thing.
That's his job, right?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you always hear about GM and, well, this is the guy who actually made all the calls. Oh, you mean did his job?
Mm-hmm.
The assistant GM on a lot of teams, it's their job to make a lot of the calls.
Well, and I think you look at the way he's performed, and then we were talking about last night, because Ken Holland catches a lot of shit, and he should, for some of the moves he's made. But he also should get a lot of flowers for some of the things. Like, listen, the Darnell Nurse contract, the Jack Campbell contract. Was Cody Ceci the guy? Didn't have to be. But
he's 7 wins away from being on the ice to hoist the cup.
That's it. And Matthias Ekholm, who cares what Edmonton gave up? I know it was Tyson Barrie and stuff.
No, it was a very good deal.
Incredible deal.
Not a single Oilers fan on the planet regrets that deal.
Zach Hyman's deal.
Oh,
now, he might have lucked into that a little bit, but he knew he was getting a fantastic NHLer. Nobody thought Zach was going to be 50 goals, Zach.
No one on the planet Earth knew that.
So you look at that and you go, I look at those two guys, and let's say only one of them goes to Columbus. I think it's obviously Don's looking like he's going. Maybe Ken, whose deal is up, and he's probably on the way out in Edmonton. Maybe he's out too. The Connor Brown deal wasn't great, but but you can blame your president for that. The thing I look at and I go, okay, Columbus does need veteran leadership. Yarmo was not a general manager before he was a GM in Columbus.
They could use a little boring.
They need boring, and they need kind of been there before. Because what the Columbus Blue Jackets need is to bring the temperature down. The Babcock stuff, having a coach you didn't want. Torts was always high, it was high heat under Torts. That's the way he coached. And then the guy that took over for him, I can't even remember his name, Columbus fans were like, oh no.
Oh, Larson?
And Columbus fans were the first ones to say, this is a bad hire. And so sometimes veteran stuff kind of just, it's like when Jim Rutherford took over in Vancouver. There were a lot of geysers that he had to put his hands on to kind of, like, a lot of shit went wrong in his first year. But you look at the progression of the Canucks after that, the way that ownership has kind of calmed down, the way that the team has performed to the level of the talent that they have on the roster.
There's definitely something there, because the whole time you're going, well, I was going, the Canucks feel too good to be this bad. And the next year comes and you're like, oh boy, still bad.
Yeah.
They feel too good to be this bad. What's going on? And then they finally found the right mix.
And they got rid of their captain. Ooh, bad guy.
Yeah, shitty. Piece of shit. Shitty. No, like it just...
The right coach and the right president.
Yeah, and also they were never... It helps when you're never supposed to be that bad.
And I think if you look at Columbus's roster, there's a lot more talent there than results.
Yes. Well, need help up the middle.
But you have... First off, they have poorly managed their prospects. The way that they mishandled David Juracek, the way they mishandled Kent Johnson, like those things are okay. Kent Johnson came to camp under or overweight or whatever it was. He was out of shape. He's still like your best center. So bag skate him and keep him up. Don't send him to the freaking Cleveland Monsters. No. Like you gotta kind of take a step forward here. And I think you need guys that understand how to bring a bunch of talented players together and they do need a goalie. They need a goalie.
Yes. Often helps when you can stop.
So we'll see what happens. But I'm Don. What do you think? That deal's done by this afternoon? Like, are we getting a Friday afternoon news dump?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Also, do you think? And I don't know if this matters to a guy like Tom Dundon, but Steve, let's say I was your boss.
Okay.
I was your daddy,
Mm.
and every
Sir,
time,
please put your feet away.
every time your contract.
Sir, I'm just trying to keep
Let me
this
tell you about when I was a kid. Gripper Nation,
professional work environment.
grip the world.
How are you going to tell Everly about this?
I don't know. I'm hoping there's a lot of stuff she just doesn't ask about. We produce a lot of content, so some of the stuff can get buried.
I'll tell him.
But
I'm not looking forward to like the third grade when Leo's like, Dad, who's David Ayres?
if every oh no,
I know.
If every time, guys, your contract came up, and I, as your owner, despite the fact that you're regularly in the second round, say, yeah, I'm not giving you shit. Yeah, go interview with somebody else. The first time you might be like, okay, I'm going to negotiate back. The second time you might be like, yeah, this is exhausting.
Not
I don't
for
want to
me.
do this.
No, that's exactly what I said with Rod Brindamore, Adam. And he decided to stay because he wanted to. Waddell's done. Waddell's done. He has something else he'd like to do. Rod Brindamore wants to keep his family there. He's been there forever. That's fine. That's great.
But he's leaving money on the table.
He's leaving money on the
Million.
table to pursue happiness. Waddell's like, meh. There's lots of places. I'll
I
go to
also
another
think
place.
it helps when your kids are grown.
Yeah, that too.
Rod's kids aren't grown yet. And you don't want to be moving around when your kids aren't grown. So, the interesting thing about Don Waddell is, and CJ gets into it a little bit with Jesse on the CJ show, which I highly recommend you check out. Julian was on vacation, so Jesse filled in. Don Waddell brings a lot more than just being a general manager. He's also apparently very smart business person. And, with a team like Columbus, smaller market, not a huge money market, although, the asset value is there. The family that owns it are, making good money on it. He might bring a lot more financial acumen to this team than maybe it's had in the past. And that could be really beneficial. So I'm curious to know I'm also curious to know if he's the only one, because Ken Holland's deal is up, and there's just something about that feels like maybe both of them. I don't know. The Stars need Rupe's speed so bad, or it's over. Burps McGurps. I agree, actually. You can tell that they really miss that guy. And, I don't think anybody going into this series thought, they're going to sink or swim by that. But the Edmonton Oilers have done a great job on defense. Really, really great job. And they did a great job against the Canucks too. I was thinking today, should the Canucks have made good on that Kessel signing? Because they sure lacked experienced scoring wingers in the playoffs, didn't they? Like, when you're lining up Elias Pettersson and Linus Karlsson, like 4 career points, Linus Karlsson. Not great. Hey, everybody, I want you to hit that like button. Are we trying? Would the Canucks trade Philip Hronek to the Hurricanes in exchange for Marty Necas? Then they could trade Mikheyev and some draft picks to the Blue Jackets for Patrick Laine. I mean, first off, the Hronek and Necas thing, I think they only do that if Carolina is sure they can sign Philip Hronek. And don't think, listen, let me see here. I'm looking at Cap Friendly. Let's look at the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes have a lot of money coming off the books. So Chatfield, D'Angelo, Pesci, and Brady Shea are all coming off the books. Okay. So the highest paid defenseman on the team currently is Dmitry Orlov at $7.75 million. Jake Slavin, which is just crazy, is making 5.3, and Brent Burns at 5.28. I look at that. Well, I know that's not the full Brent Burns contract. I understand that. I look at that and I think, sure. But again, if you're trading for an RFA, you better be willing to pay whatever the RFA wants, because as soon as you've made the deal for them, you're stuck as the team. You gave up assets for this player, and maybe you didn't get the chance to even speak to the player before you made the deal, right? Because unless the team gives you a chance to do that, that's tampering. So they kind of have your balls to the wall on that one. So is Carolina willing to spend that kind of money on Philip Roenick? I think you should. Like, how outrageous would it be? Guy's 26. He's a right shot defenseman who can move the puck and put up points. He ran the power play in Detroit until Mo Sider showed up. He was a great Robin to Quinn Hughes' Batman this year. He's, like I said, 26. So if let's say his number is $7.5 or $8 million over 8 years. So when that deal is done, he's 32 or 34. Excuse me. Do you hate that? Especially with the cap going up. You got to remember this, guys. The cap froze for a good chunk of the last 5 years. The cap is not going to freeze going forward. The NHL is growing, and it's growing quickly, unless there's some worldwide event that we can't predict, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about. I want to see, I actually love that deal. I love that deal. So, I think it's hard for a team like Carolina to lose on a deal like that. It's a question of, are they going to pay it? And maybe they have other plans. I don't know. Tulski's a bit of a madman, so I'm excited. Tampering never happens in the NHL. No, but when it comes to a trade like that, if a general manager gets a whiff that another GM has talked to an agent and there's some sort of like without permission, when it affects trade value, trust me when I tell you, they'll blow the whistle. Patrick Laine, by the way, that was the other half of the question. What if they just traded Mikheyev and some picks for Laine? Guys, Columbus does not look like a rebuild to me. As much as they were trying to make the playoffs. Columbus went into the season, they're like, we're going to be good. We got Babs. We're going to be good. Didn't work out. But I don't think Columbus is a team that's going to tear it down here. I agree that Patrick Laine should probably be traded. But it has to be Columbus wanting to do it. I think Gaudreau should probably be traded. I bet Gaudreau would welcome a trade back to Calgary. I think his dad actually tweeted that. Does SDPN have a clip of Steve reacting to the introduction of Gripper Nation? Yes, you can, I believe, check our Instagram. Let me check it out. Yeah, it's you can see the Gripper Nation hashtag there. You should check it out. It's there. All right, back into it. Into the third period. Sorry, my nose is super itchy. I think I got to change the filters in here. The allergies are just killing me this season. I don't know if you guys have had bad allergies, but holy moly. They're just like, it's just like the tip of my nose, just itchy all the time. That's how personal we're getting. Listen, you've already seen my feet. You might as well find out about my nose too. Here comes Robertson. This line has looked good. Duchesne is out there. I'm looking at the Oilers do it. Ooh, McDavid out, driving in the net. Oh, good play by Tanev to break that up. So there's Chris Tanev being Chris Tanev at his best. Great stick work, good body position, able to prevent McDavid. And listen, that guy's had a ton of experience. Vancouver and Calgary for McDavid's entire career. That's all he's done is play that guy. I really would like the Leafs to get Chris Tanev. I would love that. Apparently, he's a great teammate, too. Like, everywhere. He's like one of those guys. Like, the way Tampa was talking about Ryan McDonough, they just love the guy. Tanev's another guy that has that reputation. People just love playing with him. He's a real leader. Here's Vinny Desharnais with the little dump in. We'll see if Edmonton chases. Oh, they get the puck. Great play by Kane to Dylan Holloway there. Puck's blocked, but that was a really solid little play. And again, here comes Draisaitl. Here we go. Oh, boy, the Dallas Stars defense broke that up at the last minute. But, man, Draisaitl and Kane looked like something was going on there. I'm looking at I was just watching kind of the play through the neutral zone there. Dallas is really, really struggling to get into the offensive zone and make something happen. Edmonton's doing such a good job just suffocating their transition play. Yeah. Rough. It's rough. They're making it hard. Man, do the Edmonton Oilers want to F around and win a cup here? Sure seems that way. A neti pot is a container to rinse debris or mucus from your nose. I've tried those. Do you guys use those? I know you can't use tap water for that. You got to like boil the water or whatever. But do you guys use those? The nasal rinses? Do they work for you? Oh my goodness. See? Okay. So the Jamie Benn line finally gets something going again. Remember, they did score in the first period. This could be one of those games where Jake Ottinger steals one for you. Or it could be Connor Brown as a hero. He just has another shot. He's got the lone Edmonton goal. The Dallas Stars just came so close to scoring a goal there. And if they're up 2-1, and Ottinger has been playing outstanding hockey today, it could be one of those games where Edmonton just outplays Dallas and Dallas wins anyway. Sometimes you get a goalie stealing you a game, and we're getting awful close to steal territory here if Dallas can score. They got to open this game up a little bit, though. And there's Dellandrea in with a little hit. You got to have something here. Like, you cannot allow the Edmonton Oilers to win this game. So do you cheat offense or do you continue to play your game? Like, I don't know what you do. Oh, and they score! Well, that's what you do. You score a freaking goal. Wow. So that was a Ryan Suter shot, and I did not see who tipped it in. I just saw Dellandrea hugging him. So that's awesome for the fourth line there. Looks like it was a transition, but Mason Marchment looks like he is the goal scorer. What a goal. Nice little tip in. I think they were in the middle of a change there. So Stankoven's there. Dellandrea is still on the ice. Oh, no, that's the earlier play. Excuse me. So Marchment, Sam Steele in there is able to, and Suter, wow. What does it go off of? I guess it goes off the bottom of his stick, Marchman's stick. Wow. And listen to that Dallas crowd. They are loud, baby. They're loud. Oh, man. You know what? Like I told you earlier, Edmonton had a lot of shots, a lot of opportunities, and not a lot to show for it. And that is down to Jake Ottinger. That is a very, very big goal. Because now it forces Edmonton to open things up. And that can lend itself to Dallas's game. Because Dallas can capitalize on Edmonton opening up. That opens up more room for them in the neutral zone as well, right? That's always the risk. This McDavid line has continued to look relatively dangerous for the Edmonton Oilers, although not as great as last game. They were awesome. Oilers are not messing around here. One thing I have seen the Oilers do, and they did it against Dallas in game 1, and they did it again here in game 2, is you score on them, and they immediately come back and score on you. I forget which game it was now. Was it game 4 where Vancouver tied the game up with a couple minutes to go in Vancouver? Was it in Vancouver? Is that game 5? Anyway, I can't remember. People are going nuts, and 20 seconds later, Draisaitl scores, and it's 3-2, and the game's over. You know? That is what the Oilers do. They're just unfazed by everything. And this is a team that used to have terrible body language. If they had anything go against them, they couldn't handle it, much like the Leafs. And they've learned. CJ said it on the show. I was listening to the CJ show on the way here. That's why I'm quoting it so much. But he's like, they look like a team that has learned how to win. And when you have to, by learning how to win, what he means is you learn how to face adversity. And the Oilers come back and Connor Brown did it in the first period. Within a minute of Dallas scoring, Edmonton had scored. We'll see what they do here. There's Draisaitl on the ice. Kane with a shot. Holloway in front of the net. Craig Smith, Sam Steele, Ty Dellandrea out there again. Dallas fans calling out Stuart Skinner. Big hit on Dylan Holloway. Maybe that's a little bit of payback for running Jake Ottinger in the first period. Big hit. That'll get the fans excited. They're all standing up again. Whoa! Edmonton doing a lot of that cross ice. Well, that was a bad giveaway. Dallas got lucky there because that's the wrong guy you want to give it to. Leon Draisaitl, end of his shift. Still not great. Here comes Dadonov. Oh, boy. Stankoven almost had one there on the backhand. Heiskanen sort of avoids a check there. Well, this is a game now, folks. We got a game, guys. We got a game. Bouchard at the with Ben on him. Vinny Desharnais on the ice with him. Whoa, good save by Jake Ottinger there through traffic. There's Stankoven. Jamie Benn. Oh, it's a turnover. Dadonov can't. Well, that's not Dadonov. That's Johnson. Sorry, there's a 53 and a 63, and I couldn't tell which one it was. Oof. There's Sam Steele crossing the line. Shot. Oh! What a chance that was. This fourth line for the Dallas Stars is absolutely coming alive in the third period. Ty Dellandrea, Sam Steele, and Craig Smith. I'm not even sure Sam Steele would be playing if Rupa Hintz wasn't injured. Boy, oh boy, that was real close. They're looking good. The Stars have life, ladies and gentlemen. Will Edmonton tie this up? We got a poll up, 168. Boy, I'm going to say yes. I do think Edmonton will tie this game. We cheer for chaos here, although I think Adam said he wants a Canadian team to win, which leaves Edmonton. Yeah, we do cheer for chaos. Bring on the 7-game series. Guys, listen, this is my last series of the playoffs. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing these streams. So if we get 7 games, we get the most out of this. So I want a 7-game series here, which means the Oilers do have to lose 3 to get to 7. Gripper Nation, how are we feeling? Hey, by the way, we haven't done a city check-in. Tell me where you're watching from. I want to know. Where's Gripper Nation tonight? Where are you guys? Let's see. I cheer for chaos and I cheer for goalies. Well, you know what, Trinket 2.0? I don't blame you. Chaos is good. All right, here we go. City check-ins. We got Montreal, Seattle, Calgary, Nashville, Virginia. Where in Virginia? Toronto, of course. St. Ignatius, Montana. Long Beach, St. Louis, somewhere in Georgia, Finland, Duluth, Minnesota, Peterborough, Pittsburgh, Victoria, BC, Shea Andres Oak. I'm not in Gripper Nation. Yes, you are, Shea. If you're here, you're Gripper Nation. Welcome to the party. Scarborough, Ontario. Love that. I don't even know how to pronounce the city. Atascadero, California? I've never been there. Homer, Alex G, I'm watching from former Leafs affiliate in Orlando, home of the Solar Bears. Leafs fan, north of Boston. Good luck, man. I can't believe you're a Leafs fan in Boston. That's rough. Fredericton, Vegas, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. I'm assuming you're on vacation. I hope so. Just joined. I'm from Osaka. What up, Japan? Happy to have you here. Palmdale, California, home of the B2. Would that be the B2 Bomber? Damn. Love this. Love this. I'm boring from Toronto. No, you're not boring. Lots of Toronto people here. Lots of people from all over. East Hastings. That would be Nova Scotia, I believe. Or is that East Hants? Sherwood Park, Truro, Langhorne, Pennsylvania, Timmins, Ontario, Kitchener, Detroit, Gripperanto, Denmark, Maine. I didn't know there was a Denmark, Maine. Rome, New York. Ooh, we're getting exotic on the chat. 12:04 left in the third period. Edmonton's got to tie this game up, so they're going to have to start getting aggressive here. Whoa, here we got a shot to Donov. A little high. Kulak had him covered. That Sagan lines look really good tonight. Vintage Tyler Sagan, St. John, New Brunswick, Sault Ste. Marie, Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. I'm somewhere over the rainbow. Well, that's great. Guinea in Africa. Well, welcome. Dayton, Ohio. I'm no nickname. I'm in your basement. Please let me out. No. Tahoe Vista, California. Laval, Quebec. Aurora, Ontario. Glace Bay, Nova Scotia. Shout out to Glace Bay. I love Glace Bay. One of my best friends is from Sydney Harbor. Sydney Harbor. Cape Breton is a beautiful place, by the way. You should go check it out. Just throwing that out there. Oh, big save. Stuart Skinner's looking strong. Edmonton needs him to be good. Stars are going to be pushing for that third goal. San Diego. Waterloo Region, Ontario. Gatineau, Quebec. There you go. 11:46 left in the third period. Let's go. The Sioux? Here comes a Kyle Dubas contract offer. There are some people from Sault Ste. Marie. Sault Ste. Marie joins us every night on these chats, and I love it. What up, Sioux? 11:33 left in the third. Shots are 25-19, Edmonton. But that is changing very, very quickly. Just pulling up the stats gods stats for tonight. Hayden Matheson. Let's see what else he's got. How about this? This is a good one. The Oilers have now killed 6 consecutive double minor penalties dating back to the regular season. Wow. Impressive. That one in game 1 was key. There were some close moments. That was key. Especially because it's McDavid in a way. Weirdly enough, Apple just told me that it's a nail biter. Stars versus Oilers. And that I should be watching. Thank you, Apple. Here we go. Jamie Benn on the ice. That line got a goal earlier. They've looked good in the third period. Kind of disappeared for a while in the first and second. We won't hold it against them. Oh, there's a hook there by Nuge. Got away with one on Wyatt Johnson. It's the playoffs. Of course he's going to get away with it. Tanev, Lindell. Oh, a little bit of a hot potato puck there. Oh, Kulak can't hold the line. You can hear the Dallas Stars fans getting more and more excited. This is the point where you're like, if you're Dallas, you're like, you're just biting your nails. Like, please, please, please hold this lead. Oh! There's Duchesne with the turnover. What is he doing? Oh, Vinny Desharnais broke that up. Matt, you got to shoot the puck and get a rebound. Come on, guys. I think it was one of those where he just couldn't believe that he actually had the puck. It's a good little steal by him. Robertson line out there. Or Robertson was out there. Now it looks like Duchesne is either going to change. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, it's icing unless the Dallas Stars beat it out, and they did. Sorry, nose itchy again. There's Tyler Seguin. Oh! Oh, good little give and go there. Shout out Craig Smith. Shout out the Craig Smith line. Making stuff happen tonight. Tanev to no one in particular, but still works out because Seguin picks it up. Dadonov's out there. Delandry is out there. Trying to get a change, get that fourth line on the ice. They've been really good energy for the Dallas Stars. But McDavid cutting through the team like a knife through butter. Nice little setup. Not a great angle on Ottinger, and Ottinger has that puck. There's Delandria. Oh, Sam Steele just took I think he just almost took a stick to the face there. Stars hit, I think that was Leon Draisaitl. Am I wrong in saying he looked a bit labored skating earlier, guys? Does he look a little hurt? I know he's probably fighting something. Oh, we got a steal. Here we go. Marchment, shot. Good save. You needed the rebound on that shot. The rebound just didn't go to the right spot. But you got the right guys out there. Ben Johnson. Not Ben Johnson. Jamie Benn and Wyatt Johnston. Ben Johnson, the former sprinter. Disgraced Canadian sprinter. Kind of feel bad for him. Won the gold medal. Tested positive for steroids. And it's turned out that most of the people in that race were on steroids. And that's been found out since. Suter, Tanev. Here we go. Johnson. Let's see what he does with it. Oh, just can't get it to Jamie Benn, who had a lot of speed and left the puck behind. There's Duchesne, a little chip and chase. Nurse angles him off, slows him down just enough for Vinny Desharnais to do something with it. But they're not able to get it out. Thomas Harley, who's been spectacular for the Stars this year. God, don't you just hate him? Oh, we need a good player. Why don't we just look in our system and find another one? Pavelski to Duchesne for rebound. Nope, can't get it. And now here comes Sam Carrick. Haven't seen a lot of this Oilers fourth line tonight. Maybe Knobloch's throwing them out there because Dallas is getting so much from theirs. Okay, here we go. Heiskanen up. Whoop. Nice little play. Wow. This has been a really wide open third period. It's been fun to watch. There comes McDavid. He just feels like a guy right now that will not be denied. I will score points. I am Connor McDavid. I'm willing this to happen. 6:33 left in the third period. Dallas is coming on strong this period. It's not been the yeah. Wow. I'm looking at this and oh, we got some super chats. I'm sorry, guys. I've been paying attention to the game. Let's get those super chats. Tim Roby Show. Look at all the cities in Gripper Nation. It's got to be the biggest nation in the world. I think it is. All the capital cities. Philip Wilson, tell Teddy that I say hi. Teddy, my cat? Teddy? I will let him know. Do you know Teddy? Teddy who? Teddy Bluger? What else do we have in here? Does Edmonton only have like one shot this period? I think they've got one, maybe two. It's not been great for them. Not been great. What up? What up, Gripper Nation? Shea Andrus Oak, clearly a member of the Crab People. Always welcome here, but this is the home of Gripper Nation. And you know what you guys have to do tomorrow night to Steve, right? Every time he asks a question in the chat, make sure that you include feet in your answer somehow or some way. Always bring it back to Gripper Nation. Answer the question, but include feet in the question somehow, some way. You guys are creative. I know you can do it. Matthew Somerville, describe what's happening in the game, bro. Matthew, don't you know what my streams are like, dude? My streams are a little bit of describing what's going on in the game, a lot of Gripper Nation. I want you to look at this as I'm not a play-by-play guy. I'm here hanging out. We're having a good time. We're in my basement. We're all chilling together, having some beers, eating some food, watching the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's what this is. So, Matthew, if you want play-by-play, you'll get a little bit of that, but you'll also get a lot of chill vibes, okay? Enjoy the chill vibes, Matthew. You sound like you need some. The game just happens to be happening during the stream is the best way to describe it. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. Exactly. This just happens to be the reason we're getting together, is the game. Defensive zone faceoff for the Dallas Stars. This is where it gets interesting. Dallas won that faceoff, by the way. It's where it gets interesting. What does Edmonton do? They have to do something. And they had all those shots and not a lot to make of it. And they were looking kind of comfortable in the second period, and Dallas was letting them. But Dallas has a goalie that is so far stealing the game for them. And if they win this game 2-1, there will be one person to thank, and that's Jake Ottinger. Oh, nice little play by Pavelski there. By the way, Pavelski, I think Steve tweeted this in the intermission, leads the NHL in playoff goals since 1997. That's bonkers. Guys never won a cup. There's a guy that needs a cup. I'd love to see Pavelski get a cup, whether it's this year or next. I just love that guy. Here we go. Stankovic shot. Nice little save. Fat rebound. Nobody there to cover. Or sorry, nobody there to grab it. Tanev Lindell out there. Not against McDavid, notably. Maybe they're trying to switch that up. Cece, who had a really great little setup with Connor Brown, a little give and go. Yeah, that's right. Those words, if you missed the first period, that is real. It was great. Sedin Magic 15, not nearly enough likes on this stream. Are you guys, what are you angling for grippers again? Here, I'll like the stream. There, I liked it. Brady loves T-Captain X. Does Pavelski retire if he wins the cup this year? I don't think so. He seems like the kind of guy that will just go until the wheels fall off. He's too good. I think he stays in Dallas. And I think if Dallas goes, hey, Joe, can you just accept $1 million on your next contract? He goes, yep, done. Count me in. I want to be a star. Ooh. 4:13 left in the third period, guys. Here comes that fourth line again for the Dallas Stars. Craig Smith tied to Landria. Oh, and Sagan had a shot there too. I guess he was late on that shift. The Bonk Father. I think Bouchard's defensive play recently has been underappreciated. I think you're right. I think the Oilers' defensive play recently has been underappreciated. I'll admit, like, even I underestimated it. They're really good. Really good. And it's really shone in the playoffs. Like, we saw some of it in the regular season, but there's a lot of, what do they call them, paper tigers? Like, oh, these guys are so good at, and then the playoffs, they get exposed. The Oilers' defense has looked better in the playoffs than it looked in the regular season. Dwayne McSloy, time for McJesus to perform a miracle. It is. It is. It is. It's, I think McDavid did perform a miracle last game too, but, he's McDavid. Miracles are always on the menu. Deb Benenke, give me grippers, plural, not a tease like the other night. Listen, Deb, I got to make you work. I can't just give you grippers and not have many layers. 1,000 likes for the grips. But can we get to 1,500? If we can get to 1,500 likes, you unlock a new achievement. You know what it is. Tyler Durden. I imagine not the real Tyler Durden. The hockey equivalent of a paper tiger is the Maple Leafs. Yeah, that's pretty fair. You need to tell them all the cheese level of your feet next time. Ew, Shay. Oh, so freaking gross, dude. Oh, yuck. 3K for 3K likes in a pedicure stream? I don't know, maybe. That might be a stream we'd have to put, like, I'd have to make you guys become all VIP members. If we're doing weird shit like that, you're going to have to, that's weird. I'd have to make you buy a year membership. Here we go. Shot attempts, by the way, still favoring the Oilers, 57-47. Dallas with a turnaround. Nice shot on Stuart Skinner, who's perfectly angled for it. Dallas is looking for a lot of rebounds. You're seeing low shots against his pads, and I think that's the right call for them if they want to get this goal. Bouchard with a nice move, tries to pass it over to McDavid. It was like a fake shot pass. You got to think Edmonton's going to get close to all the big boys are out there. McDavid, Draisaitl, Ekholm, Bouchard, Hyman. Puck deflects over the glass. You have to think that Edmonton's going to start to look at pulling here. In fact, I don't know why they don't do it right now. You may as well, right? Try to get this tied up early. I'm sorry, but why are feet called grippers? Well, like, okay, so the reason feet are called grippers is because they're what grips the ground. Like, if you drive a car, your tire grips the ground, and that's your grip as a race car driver is what keeps you on track, right? So they're your grippers. Did the grippers make an appearance? No. Rhetoric M, I'm out. Well, guess you won't get any gripper content tonight, sir. Julian, make Steve and Jesse show us their feet. I don't feel like they're going to do that. Woo! Oh, nice save there by Ottinger. He's looked good. This is vintage playoff Jake Ottinger. Man, is there a goalie, like Bobrovsky's another one of these goalies that they hit a new gear. You can't really judge their regular season. You got to look at them in the playoffs. Here we go. They're sagging up with the puck. He's been really good tonight. Broken up by Draisaitl. Nice defensive play. Drives it back up the ice. Oh, it looks like, Ekholm was open. Nice save by Ottinger. Wow. Bouchard at the point with it. Here's Draisaitl. Bouchard winds up for a slapper, and it is seen the entire way by Ottinger. Zach Hyman was trying to get in the way, but Heiskanen had him tied up. If Jesse wins the cup in his franchise mode, he joins Gripper Nation. Well, we'll see. We'll see. You should give those grippers a spray. Got to keep them fresh like lettuce. You guys are freaking nuts. You're nuts. Oh, my God. Oh, follow. Whoop. Block shot. Here we go. Duchesne flips it over Nurse. Tries to outspeed him. Nurse kind of ties him up. You got to think this next shift, because the Oilers are going to put their secondary best guys out there. Evander Kane's out there. Fogel's out there. I think Holloway's out there. As soon as oh, here we go. It's Craig Smith. Sam Steele, excuse me. Yeah, you got to think that as soon as McDavid's back out there, they're pulling Skinner. Good play by the Dallas defense there. This game is open, and Edmonton has pulled the goalie. Dallas shoots, and they score, and it's over. Man, that was a bad pull. Bad pull by Edmonton. Esa Lindell. Nice shot. From the blue line, from his own blue line. That was a bad pull. You can't pull the goalie when you don't have possession. And they should have waited until McDavid was out there. I don't know. I don't understand why they pulled him at that point. So Holloway with the shot here. They're going to show the replay. Oh, that freaking hurt. Oh my God. So Kane has the puck. He gets muscled off of it. Edmonton goes for a change, and they're left wide open. So you just put Nuge out there. You have to have possession of the puck before you pull a goalie. You have to have possession of it. That was a mistake by the Oilers. And it's unfortunate because they've played a really, really good game. By all rights, they should have at least 2 goals in this game. And now Dallas is going to win. Justin, are Edmonton cooked? Tonight they are. Aaron Grace, Edmonton didn't have a grip on the situation. Dejected Soup, they lost grip on the game. That's why. Yeah, damn, that's game over, guys. Oh, Jamie Benn with a penalty because the refs want to make it interesting. All right, this will be fun. So we're going to pull the goalie. We're going to go 6-on-5 or 6-on-4. I wonder if they call a timeout here. So Draisaitl, I got to give Draisaitl credit. It's a veteran playoff move. He holds Ben's stick right under his arms. That is a veteran playoff move by Draisaitl. And yeah, listen, should Ben get a penalty? In a regular season, that's a penalty. In the playoffs, if Draisaitl lets that stick go, they probably don't call it. Good for him. Let her grip. You know what I'm saying? Let's see the Oilers work some magic here. Because if they score on this 6-on-4, we got a game. We got a game again. You got Tanev out there, the guy you need. Dallas wins the faceoff. They ice. Wiggleman gifted 1 SDPN membership. Spencer Grayson, you can thank Wiggleman for your SDPN membership. Here comes McDavid in. This is going to be the scariest minute 08 of Dallas Stars fans' life. Whether or not the Oilers score here, it's immaterial. You will be freaking out for the next now minute 03. $103 left. The real McMiracle is we need 1,000 likes for Gripper Nation. Guys, I don't think you're going to get there tonight. It's Saturday night. I thought you were in for the foot content, but I guess not. Listen, Gripper Nation, you gotta organize. Monday night when we come back, we got to think about this. Here comes McDavid with a shot. Adam always slaughters the pronunciation of Wiggleman. Well, I don't know. I don't know how to say it. He's never said his last name to me. I don't know, Jeff. Do you know Wiggleman? Is it Wilgeman? Wigilman? 54.2 seconds left. Oh, Dallas gets possession. There's Johnston. Oh, do we have a penalty? I think Evander Kane just took a penalty. Oh, no. Oh, no, Evander. He's not on a great playoff, guys. He's not been that good. That's rough. What did he do here? Oh, that is absolute. Yeah, that's a little weak. I get why he's pissed about that. That's a crap call. That's bad. Like that happens like 40 million times a game in the playoffs. Why are they calling it now? Refs, if you're going to make the game exciting, make it exciting. Now, what is Edmonton supposed to do? Okay, 4-on-4. You got Jamie Benn out there with, of all people, Sam Steele. Not Jamie Benn, excuse me, Tyler Seguin. With Sam Steele. Okay, Edmonton's going to pull anyway, as they should. Let's see what McDavid does. This does favor the Oilers, by the way, 4-on-4, because they got a lot of talent. But that was a stupid call. Sorry, Oilers fans. I feel you on that one. If you're complaining about it, you've got every right to. Here we go. McDavid around the back of the net. Shot to Bouchard does not shoot. I don't know if the Oilers know this. They're down 2 goals. They have to shoot the puck. Has anybody told the Oilers that you don't need a perfect goal, you just need a goal? Man, Jake Ottinger deserves all the flowers tonight. 5 seconds to go. That is a Jake Ottinger masterclass. That is all him. You owe him all the beers, all the steak dinners. Game 2 is Jake Ottinger and Jake Ottinger only. And by the way, the Stars have lost 7 straight game 1s. It's the longest active streak in the NHL, but they are 5-2 in their last 7 game 2s. And they've outshot opponents 24-15 at that, outscored, opponents 24-15 at that time. Guys, that's a big, big game from Jake Ottinger and a big response from the Dallas Stars. So here's the deal. Monday night, we're in Edmonton. Monday night, it's you and me on this stream again, Gripper Nation. And we're going to enjoy this game because we're going back to Edmonton with a tied series. We'll see who decides to bring it Monday night. This is a much better game, I think, than game 1 even was. Connor Brown's goal was awesome, but the Oilers just could not get much going after that. They had lots of shots, but couldn't get anything past Ottinger. So Monday night, we're hanging out again. We'll see if the Gripper content happens. All right? Ottoger. Stop it. That's funny. Rupe's back in game 3. The momentum feels different. Well, we'll see. We'll see. This is good, guys. Gripper Nation, it was a pleasure hanging out with you tonight. I'm going to wrap it up, but I want to say, had a great time. We will see you Monday night. Enjoy.